Washington Redskins against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Two old rivals meeting for the first time since 1979. The Redskins and the Steelers from Three Rivers Stadium. A beautiful afternoon for football. 41 degrees under brilliant sunny skies. A key matchup today. The Washington Redskins climbing back into the NFC race. A game behind the Giants in Dallas. In the AFC Central, Pittsburgh just a game in front of Cincinnati and Cleveland. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris. And everybody knows by now, Johnny, that Jay Schrader will start for the Washington Redskins in place of the injured Joe Theismann. However, a dramatic development at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's right, Tim. Just moments ago, it was announced that David Woodley has a stomach virus and will not start today. And since Mark Malone is already injured, that means that the Steelers are going to have to go with their third quarterback. Scott Campbell is going to play almost with no notice. He's going to go in there and play. So we have two young quarterbacks playing. We'll have to see if there's going to be a lot of blitzing, because that's traditionally what you do against young quarterbacks. We're almost ready for game time.
All right, Johnny, it will be Ken Jenkins awaiting the kickoff for the Redskins from this powerful-footed man, Gary Anderson of the Steelers, and the wind blowing the ball off the tee. So interesting developments during the pregame warm-up, with the Steelers having to go to young Scott Campbell at quarterback, and he'll be facing Jay Schrader today in what is a key matchup for both these teams. From the 2-yard line, Jenkins. And the hole. To the 20-yard line. Driven out of bounds just short of the goal line by Dwayne Woodruff. The Redskins with a first and goal at the 3, a 95-yard return.
And what a way for a football game to begin. I think we've got a good one as Jenkins kept his eyes open, played off the block, then turned on the speed. It looked like they were going to run him down right here, but he has good speed and finally is knocked out of bounds. He almost went all the way as the Washington Redskins are all the way down to the 3-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers on the first play of this football game.
Ken Jenkins, a third-year man out of Bucknell, picked up on waivers this year from the Detroit Lions. First and goal, straight to the quarterback. A little miscue on the handoff. Rodgers is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. The problem with the exchange from Jeff Bostic, who is starting today at center. He's coming off injured reserve. The former Pro Bowler, Rick Donnelly, who had been in his spot, bothered with a broken bone in his hand, unable to go today.
Schrader was lucky that he didn't get a fumble in this situation. Notice that George Rogers has started instead of John Riggins, and Rogers was stopped, but they maintained control of the ball.
Second and goal. Just inside the 3-yard line. Out of the I formation, it's Rogers again, straightened up and driven back. Robin Cole. Third and goal.
Well, this Pittsburgh defense is being tested early. It's been a good one, especially the last few weeks. The #1 defense in the National Football League. Robin Cole, 56, now playing on the inside. And what a boost this would be for the Steelers if they stop the Redskins on this short drive. Third down.
Wansley the lead back for Rodgers in the I. Two tight ends. Rodgers again to the goal line, touchdown. So the Redskins, with a 95-yard touchdown return, kickoff return, setting it up, draw first blood.
And here goes Rodgers into the end zone. He cuts back, plays off the block, and just bangs his way just barely right over the goal line, touchdown. And it was interesting that they started Rodgers, and even on the tough yard situation, they did not bring John Riggins in. The Washington Redskins take the lead by a score of 7-0.
Mark Mosley with the point after. And so dramatic developments in the warm-up involving the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback spot. And then suddenly a dramatic kickoff return that has Washington in front before we have barely begun. At Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh.
I didn't get a chance to sit down on my seat. Things started to happen.
There's George Rogers, and he has been saying during the week in Washington, I want the football. He's been unhappy about sharing the time with John Riggins. Last Monday night, it was Keith Griffin who got the running time after both Riggins and Rogers were afflicted with fumbleitis. And Rogers complained through the media this week that he needs to have the ball more often and that he's got to get into a rhythm and he's got to be busy in a football game. Joe Gibbs told us yesterday that if the weather was dry, he was inclined to start Rogers, and he did so. If the weather had been rainy, as it was much of the week in Pittsburgh, Riggins probably would have received the start. So right now, George Rogers has probably forgotten all about the things that have been bothering him about playing for Washington this year, because he's got the early touchdown.
We have a stunned crowd here in Pittsburgh, another sellout, the 108th consecutive sellout here in Pittsburgh. And they didn't expect the game to begin this way. And, of course, the Washington Redskins off to a fast start without Joe Theismann for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, and that's the first touchdown, by the way, the Steelers have allowed at Three River Stadium this season. Prior to today, they just gave up 2 field goals. So Washington has got the jump on the #1 defense in the National Football League. Cox's kickoff taken at the goal line by Todd Spencer and stopped at the 22-yard line. Number 36. And the Steelers will have Scott Campbell at quarterback. The second-year man from Purdue, Walter Abercrombie and Frank Pollard. 200-yard days for them last week. Stallworth and Lips are the wide receivers. Penny, Wolfley, the veteran Mike Webster, Randy Rasmussen getting the start for the injured Terry Long, Kurt Oken at tackle, and Benny Cunningham the tight end. First offensive series for the Steelers on their own 23-yard line. Abercrombie, a gain of maybe 1.5 yards before Dexter Manley and Neil Olkowitz made the stop for the Redskins. Defensively, the 4-man line of Washington has Mann and Manley on the ends, Big Dave Butts and rookie Dean Hamill for the injured Darrell Grant. The linebacking core, Kaufman, Olkowitz, and Rich Milat, former Penn Stater. Have some fans here today. Darrell Green, Vernon Dean on the corners, Rafael Cherry starting for Tony Peters at strong safety, and Curtis Jordan at screen. Second and a long 8. Good burst out over the 32-yard line for Abercrombie. Will leave about a 3rd and 2. Rafael Cherry made the stop. Number 37, the rookie from Hawaii. Tony Peters bothered with a groin injury. Cherry getting the start Monday night because of that. But there's some thought that they are grooming Cherry to perhaps move into Peters' position, although Cherry has been the backup free safety behind Curtis Jordan. 3rd and 1. Goal line defense for the Steelers, for the Redskins, and Pollard bounces off for what appears to be a first down. Yes, they will mark it at the 35.
And well, that's really a short run, but a great run by Pollard. He's such a tough guy, and that time the hole was jammed up, and he, just like a bowling ball, he bounced off it, kept his footing, and managed to get the first down for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now watch as everything is jammed up by the Steelers. He bangs in, keeps the legs going, and gets down there for the first down. Frank Pollard, an excellent game last week.
First down Steelers from their own 35. Inside handoff, Abercrombie picks up about 2. In the 3 games under David Woodley, the Steelers have run the ball very effectively. Manley and Milat making the stop there. A pickup of a 2-yard game, we'll call it. 2nd and 8.
The Steelers have been running more and more lately, and may go to it even more with Scott Campbell. You can imagine what is going through his mind about 10 minutes or just a few minutes before the game. He learned he was going to start this football game. And here's a young man that is on the spot, but he's a confident guy. He's got a lot of confidence.
2nd and 7, a drop play to Abercrombie. First down Steelers at their own 48, a 10-yard pickup.
The key to this was you're going to see Dexter Manley come on the inside rush 72, and then Pollard gets out in front of Abercrombie and creates a block on Milat, and Abercrombie gets a nice gain out of it. As it looks like both runners for the Steelers going to have more big days if it keeps up this way.
Steelers have averaged 183 yards rushing in their last 3 games, all victories with Woodley at the helm. Quick pass in the flat, incomplete, intended for Stallworth. First pass of the day, and indeed of the year, for Scott Campbell, the youngster from Purdue, 23 years of age, 7th round choice in 1984. And with 45-man rosters, not all of the teams keeping 3 quarterbacks. So here's a situation where today it was awfully important for them to have a 3rd man ready to go. Malone out with a toe injury. Woodley suffering the stomach virus earlier today. 2nd and 10. The give is to Pollard. Met on the corner with a good defensive reaction by Rich Malott, the 7-year veteran from Penn State. Pick up maybe 1.5 yards to midfield.
Well, that was a great play by Malott. Boy, he met Pollard head on. He always comes up with the big plays. One of the guys who's played in the NFL hasn't gotten really the credit due him over the years.
So it is 3rd down and 8. Weegee Thompson has come in along with Rich Ehrenberg. They take the tight end out on these passing situations on 3rd down here at Pittsburgh. Campbell eludes the first charge, trying to find an open man. He's got him. 1st down, Pittsburgh. Louis Lips. Those aren't boos, those are loos for Louis Lips.
Well, this is a good one for Scott Campbell, too. It's got to help the confidence level a little bit as he is forced out of the pocket here. Has nice instincts. He goes inside the block and then just waits for the receivers. And Louis Lips comes back to him and stays inbound, makes the grab, and it's a 1st down for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
44 catches on the year for Louis Lips. 1st down in Washington territory. Good protection. Stallworth. To the 14-yard line. 24-yard gain over Vernon Dean.
It was Stallworth on Vernon Dean, and Vernon Dean said he's always admired Stallworth, but it was just the out-and-up move, and Stallworth looked back, spotted the ball first, got his feet in bounds, and the Steelers have a drive going. We were talking to Vernon Dean last night. He says, I have a lot of respect for Stallworth. He says, John Stallworth, he said, I've watched him when I was a youngster, and now I'm playing against him. Well, so far, he's gotten a lesson.
He was excited about facing him. He may be less so now. Drop play to Abercrombie. A gain of maybe 1/2 yard. The middle of the Washington defense. Blocking the hole, Neil Olkowitz, the middle linebacker, plugging things up after a gain of maybe 1/2 yard, if that. Pittsburgh driving under young Scott Campbell at quarterback. If you've just joined us and you're wondering about the quarterback spot, David Woodley, the stomach virus this morning, unable to go, was to be in uniform. We have not yet seen him on the bench. This is the 11th Pittsburgh play of a drive that started at their 24. Campbell with running room. To the 7-yard line.
Heads-up play by Campbell. Notice the pass blocking. It's pretty good. They're putting some doubles on, and Dexter Manley couldn't get through. Penny does a good job, and Campbell shows some nice instinct. Had he gotten a better block from Cunningham, 89 here, he could have gone a little bit further. But he put his head down and almost got to the 1st down marker. It's going to be 3rd and about 4. Big play for Scott Campbell and the Pittsburgh Steelers trying to recover from that big kickoff return by the Redskins.
The opening offensive series for Pittsburgh. They need to get to the 4-yard line for a 1st down. And Campbell takes off, and was he hit at the 5-yard line. The hit by Cherry with Darrell Green right there, and it may have been a miscue. It looked to me like Pollard was expecting to get the ball. Campbell, when the handoff didn't connect there, they're discussing it, took off.
I think that's exactly right, because he just couldn't reach him. So then he took off, and it looked like he was going to make the 1st down. But watch the hit by Cherry and Darrell Green. Actually, it was Darrell Green who really hit him. He upended him and stopped his forward momentum, so it's going to be field goal time. Gary
Anderson, a 22-yard try as the Redskins stopped the Steelers from going into the end zone. But a routine 3-pointer for Gary Anderson, and so the Steelers are on the scoreboard on their first possession. We'll be right back at Three Rivers Stadium with Washington in front 7-3. Where young Scott Campbell has just taken the Steelers downfield, 71 yards in 13 plays, using up 6:03 on the clock. He connected on 2 out of his first 3 passes this season, and the Steelers with a 22-yard field goal from Anderson. The made it a 7-3 ball game. If you joined us a little late, you missed a lot because Ken Jenkins returned the opening kickoff, 95 yards for the Redskins, setting up a touchdown by Rogers. In the end zone, they'll bring it out. Jenkins again. Jenkins out over the 40-yard line. Chuck Noll is going to be having some words for the special team, I think. Another big return and some boos from the crowd. Todd Spencer made the stop finally.
Well, he took it from the end zone, and he followed his men right up the middle, followed the four horsemen, and just getting some good blocking there. Good blocks as Jenkins just takes off, goes down the field, and gives Washington excellent field position once again. Not quite as good as being on the 3, but they're out there.
First down at the 40-yard line. One step back is Rogers. In motion, Monk behind the ball. Rogers for about 5 yards to the 45-yard line of the Redskins. Jay Schrader, the quarterback, coming in dramatic fashion on Monday night, replacing Joe Theismann. Gary and Goodman making the tackle for the Steelers. And Schrader, I thought in our chat with him last night, seemed to be very calm and relaxed. Joe Theismann felt that maybe the short work week might make it a little easier mentally for Schrader. Not too much time to think about preparing to meet the mighty first team and defense in the NFL of Pittsburgh Steelers. This is Rogers and hit from behind by Brian Hinkle, but Rogers dragged him for about 3 yards. It'll be out to the 48. They'll spot it at the 47-yard line of Washington. George Rogers.
2 yards. Third down.
Coming over from the Saints and now getting a little relief. Keith Griffin comes in on third down. We see New Orleans has jumped in front of Minnesota 7-0 in the first period. Right on the touchdown by William Wilson. And the Jets lead New England 3-0 in a very big game in the AFC East. Houston in front of San Diego 7-0. Third down here in the long 2. Schrader will throw. Has a man, but it's incomplete. Monk. Coverage, Harvey Clayton, the pass a little behind Monk, and the Steelers have held.
I don't believe he would have had the first down anyway, because he really wasn't past the first down marker. The pass was behind him, so there wasn't much chance for that play.
Lewis Lips back awaiting the punt from Steve Cox. Lips, the leading punt returner in the AFC, averaging 14.4 yards on 25 punt returns. That's pretty fancy. And again, what sounds like boos are simply chance of lose. Low snap. Good job by Cox to get it away. It comes down short. Lips is swarmed under. Good punt return coverage by the Redskins. He got to the 22-yard line. A flag is down after the play. A flag came down well after the play was over. Just a 32-yard punt by Cox. And a 5-yard return by Lips, but let's see what the call will be. Our referee today, Gordon McCarter. And it is against the Steelers.
Illegal block from the waist, number 82.
Now there's some further discussion. That's something we've commonly seen this year.
The foul has been reported as being against the kicking team during the return. It will be, again, an illegal block, 82 kicking team.
That would be Anthony Jones, number 82 of the Redskins. Number 82 of the Steelers, John Stallworth, not likely to be out there in that circumstance, and I don't believe was. Joe Gibbs unhappy with that turn of events, a literal turn of events. He had the yardage being marked against Pittsburgh, and suddenly it's upfield. And so with 5:40 remaining first period, it remains Redskins 7, Steelers 3.
First and 10.
Already down under that pile, and here comes the foul.
Anthony Jones, number 82 with the old tush block. It's kind of late, and that's a no-no, I guess. Didn't seem like it had much effect on the play.
So it was marched off to the 32-yard line as reserve tight end Anthony Jones unhappy with that development. The play was effectively over with the Lips already downed and the whistle had blown. down Steelers. They trail 7-3 on a touchdown by George Rogers of the Redskins. Anderson replying with a field goal. Loose ball, and it looks like it's recovered by Pollard. The ball carrier bounced right back into him as Mel Kaufman,
Down by Olkowitz.
or Olkowitz, number 52, right there with an opportunity at the loose ball.
Yeah, give Dexter Manley some credit. He got right down the line there, jammed up the play on the guard, and knocked the ball loose.
Gain of about a foot, as it turns out. As you look into the boyish face of Scott Campbell, 23 years of age, out of Purdue. Sudden starter today. Draw play Pollard, and he's met right at the line of scrimmage by Dexter Manley, number 72. Really gave him a ride up high.
Boy, Dexter Manley, I have watched him almost every play exclusively. He is having a super football game so far. He is all over the place and has mostly made his big moves to the inside on Ray Penny.
How can their emotional level be any higher than it was Monday night when they lost Joe Theismann in the first half? Went on to beat the Giants in a must-win situation for the Redskins, but they sure look fired up here today. Blitz, third down, Campbell in difficulty, and it's Manley. Dexter Manley, his 11th sack of the season, and Pittsburgh will have to punt.
He is all over the place. Penny 65 is blocking on. This time, he just goes in, makes contact, goes to the outside. They forced Campbell out of the pocket, and he had no chance as Dexter Manley playing like a man possessed, as the Redskins had 39 sacks going into this game, and now they got 1 or 2. They're up to 40 at least, 40 sacks for the year.
The punt is blocked. Recovered by the Redskins inside the 20 of Pittsburgh. It was Otis Wansley who got a hand on the ball, number 39. And Harry Newsom, with no opportunity to get that ball away.
He's a three-step punter, but you can see Wansley's 39. He got away from the block, blocked it, and there are the Redskins and the Steelers all over the place, but the Redskins now creating a lot of things happening on the special teams.
Looks like Steve Hamilton covered the loose ball. It was Washington ball anyway, obviously. Here's Rogers. And Rogers stopped after a gain of about 2 yards by David Little, left inside linebacker number 50. So big plays by the Redskins early in this football game. The kickoff return by Jenkins, setting up the Rogers touchdown, and now a block punt. They have 2nd down and 9 at the 19-yard line of Pittsburgh.
They say that the special teams is over a third of the game, and this game is proving that.
Box formation to the left with Rogers the lone running back. Adding Didier in motion. Intended for Warren, number 85, and a good defensive play by Rick Woods, number 22. Woods, who had been a safety until training camp this year, won the starting role at the left corner. The 4-year man from Boise State, Dwayne Woodruff, who also plays there, has been hurt, and he's just back from injured reserve, and Woods is staying in that spot on the left corner.
And now Woodruff has come in the game.
We expected to see Woodruff in some nickel situations today. John Swain has joined him in that category. It is 3rd and 9. Keith Griffin is the lone running back who can catch the ball out of the backfield for the Redskins. Schrader sailing it to the end zone. It is flag down, touchdown to Didier. A late signal for the touchdown. The flag came down first, and touchdown is signaled. The Redskins strike again.
Pass interference. Number 26 on the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown is good.
John Swain, number 26, called for interference. The touchdown will stand.
And the fact was that Didier got a step, and he got behind Swain, and Swain had no choice here. He put both hands up. You can put one up, but he put both up. But it didn't matter because Didier made the grab, and the Redskins have really shocked Pittsburgh.
Mosley with the point after, and that was an outstanding catch by Didier, keeping his concentration on the play. 3:27 remaining first period. Redskins in front. In Pittsburgh, we have had an eventful first period here with Washington scoring following the block punt by Otis Wansley. They took it in from 18 yards out. The pass from Schrader to Didier. 19 yards in 3 plays in just 45 seconds. And Jay Schrader, for the injured Joe Theismann, threw what looked to be a perfect pass, and John Swain had to interfere with Didier, and that had no effect. Didier caught the ball anyway. Short kickoff from Cox Spencer for the Steelers. Over the 30-yard line, driven out by number 64, Hamilton.
And this is certainly one game where something has to give, because the Steelers at home against NFC teams over the last few years are 19-2. However, the Redskins playing against AFC teams are 10 of their last 11. So we have two teams with very good success against the other conference. As you look at Chuck Noll, and he's wondering what's going on with his special teams.
First down, Steelers. Scott Campbell, the quarterback, with David Woodley, who was supposed to be in uniform, but stricken with a stomach virus, unable to go today. Pollard stopped after a gain of only 2. We've talked about how both of these teams have outstanding defenses against the rush. Dean Hamill made the stop there, the rookie from Tulsa. He's in the spot normally occupied by Darrell Grant, who's on injured reserve with a knee injury.
And one of the things the Steelers have to take into account, they're playing a four-man front. They usually play against 3-4s. The Redskins are a 4-3, so that obviously affects your offensive running game.
Second and 8. Play action fake to Pollard. The man is open. Abercrombie, but Campbell came up short. Abercrombie out of the backfield was open in the deep flat. Campbell didn't get it to him.
Well, there was a reason that Campbell didn't get to him, and it was Dexter Manley once again. He's number 72 there, the defensive right end. As you can see, they came across on a trap with the fake of the run, and Manley had his hands up there in Campbell's face, and that makes it a little more difficult to throw the ball when you got a big man up there with his hands in front of you.
That was Emil Boris, who was coming over to put the block on him. Boris in at right guard now. Rasmussen started, but Boris and Rasmussen were shore duty for the injured Terry Long. Third down and 8. Great drop by Campbell this time, going deep. That ball is far enough. Thompson, if Thompson had kept running, he might have caught that football, Johnny. It looked like he stopped, and the ball was plenty deep enough for him. Weegee Thompson, number 87. And the rookie defender, Barry Wilbur, number 45, had the coverage. What do you think here, wide receiver Johnny Morris?
Well, I think I think he spotted the ball first, and he saw that the man was right next to him. Wilburn was right with him. He just went up to try to make the hand catch over his shoulder.
I knew you'd defend the wide receiver. Looked to me to be a dig at another stride. He might have been there. The ball and Thompson might have arrived together. High snap on the punt.
Line drive.
Newsom gets it away, and it takes a Steeler bounce. Goes out of bounds just inside the 20-yard line of Washington. So 2:24 remains after that 45-yard punt, and the Washington Redskins lead it 14-3.
Their own 20-yard line.
Schrader, 24 years of age, in his second year out of UCLA. His first ever start in the National Football League. Fumble, and Rogers is able to grab it for the Redskins, preventing a turnover. And again, a little problem with the exchange, this time between quarterback and running back.
It seemed that he had to extend it out, reach out to try and make the handoff. And you'd have to say that maybe it was a Schrader's mistake because of the fact that, he's in there and there's a lot of handoffs and a lot of a mixture of motion, and he would be more liable to make the mistake. He hasn't played all that much.
Robin Cole is down and being attended to, the 9-year veteran from New Mexico, a key performer in that Steeler defense, one of the outstanding linebacking crews of Merriweather, Little, Cole, and Hinkle. And if Cole goes out of there, that's a real big gap.
Yeah, Robin was saying he plans to play a long time in the NFL. He wants to play longer than any linebacker has ever played in this football game. That's his objective.
I think that's a great ambition. You don't hear too many players say that that's what they want most. Now it looks like he's coming over to complain about how the injury occurred. And maybe just saying, I've got your number, pal, and I'll be looking for you.
I'll see you a little bit later. I think Ted Hendricks probably played longer than any linebacker, and that was, 16, 17 years. So Robin has got a long way to go. He moved from the outside to the inside and has adapted well to the inside linebacking position.
Fred Small, a rookie from Washington, has replaced him on 2nd and 12, Washington. Rogers Caught by the linebacker, Small. Loose ball. Play was whistled dead. It'll be Redskin ball. Eric Williams came up with it, but it was after play had been whistled dead. And we've got an injured Redskin down on the play, as we'll see the replay and pick that up for you.
Okay, and it's Small just following Rogers over, stays away from the blocks, tears him down and tries to strip the ball loose, but it looked like he had hit the turf before he had fumbled. It was hard to tell from this angle. But Rogers is down.
Yeah, I believe that's Rogers. Keith Griffin has come on the field, so while we haven't had a clear view of the injured Redskin player, we have, by the process of elimination, deduced that it may be Rogers.
Okay, here's the tackle by Small on Rogers as he comes down, and then he gets hit from the front side. He got it from the back and the front, and that was Donnie Shell, I believe, who put the hit on him. And Donnie Shell is famous, as you know, for knocking people out of the game. He did that last week against Warren Moon.
The 33-year-old veteran in his 12th year, still playing with the enthusiasm of a rookie. And Tony Dungy, the young defensive coordinator, is actually younger than his veteran player here, and has just so much respect and regard for the attitude that Shell brings to the Pittsburgh defense, and has for 12 successful years. Well, while they attend to Rogers, we'll give you these scores, which this first one from Chicago, scoreless. The mighty Bears and Atlanta.
The Monsters of the Midway. Tampa Bay has taken a 3-0 lead over Detroit. And Miami 7-0 over Buffalo. That's a first quarter score. Cincinnati, Cleveland. Here's a big one from the AFC Central. Cleveland leads 3-0 in the second quarter.
We'll be tracking that one for Pittsburgh fans throughout the afternoon. A key game in the AFC Central. Chuck Noll looking on as he's saying, what happened at the start of this game? We're suddenly down 14-3, hadn't given up a touchdown at home, and the Redskins, with an effectively a rookie at quarterback in Jay Schrader making his first start. But the big plays have been the kickoff return by Jenkins and the block punt by Otis Wansley, and Rogers gets to his feet and looks like he is all right, being assisted out by the training staff of the Redskins.
It looks like John Riggins better get his jacket off. Of course, they're in a third down passing situation. Griffin will be in there, but we may see Riggins under the normal circumstances on a 1st and 10 situation. Let's see what happens here.
Gary Dunn has come in on the nose for the Steelers, number 67, coming off an ankle injury. Missed the last 3 games. He's in there for Goodman. An aroused Steeler crowd on 3rd down, Washington. Complete. That is Clark, number 84, for a 1st down, Redskins at the 36-37-yard line of Washington.
And you can see the strength in the arm of Schrader on this pass as Clark goes down and in. I really like this Clark. He's going to be something else, and give him another year or 2. He's already a good one. And it's Woods that comes in for the tackle, but Clark made the grab, and it's a 1st down situation. John Riggins has come in the game for Washington.
Gary Clark, the rookie from James Madison. Riggins' first carry. Barrels his way in Riggins style for 3, maybe 4 yards over the 40-yard line. Eric Williams came up from the safety spot, number 21, to make the tackle.
Riggins got in a little hot water last week. As you look at his statistics, he fumbled a couple of times. You know, he doesn't fumble very often, but he fumbled twice last week, and Rogers fumbled once, and Joe Gibbs said, I'm going to get him out of there, and John Riggins agreed with it, but he doesn't fumble, but once every 60 times he carries the ball over his career.
This time tripped up behind the line of scrimmage and then swarmed under for a loss on the play. Keith Gary, he's just back from injured reserve. This battered Pittsburgh defensive front been bothered with injuries all season long. Gary back for a start after knee and elbow problems, coming off injured reserve, and we have come to the end of the first period, leaving Washington with a 3rd and 7 when we return, but they lead the Steelers here in Pittsburgh 14-3.
14, Pittsburgh 3.
Loud crowds at Three Rivers Stadium in a row, that is, here in Pittsburgh. And right now, hoping that their heroes can get something going, but first they've got to get the ball back. They trail 14-3 as we begin the second period. The Redskins to our right in white, the Steelers to our left, and their familiar black and gold. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris watching Jay Schrader lead the Redskins. He's got lots of time. Incomplete, intended for Didier, nearly made a dazzling fingertip grab over there on the far sideline. Out on the coverage, the linebacker Merriweather, number 57, who has exceptional range at linebacker for the Steelers. So it is 4th down, and again the sounds for Lou. Lewis Lips back to receive the punt from Steve Cox. Lips standing at his 17-yard line, always dangerous returning, and the leader in that department in the AFC. Cox at his 25 will hit it from the 30. And there'll be a flag on the play. Lips stopped at the 17-yard line, but a flag down, and there will be at least running into the kicker. Wansley made the tackle downfield on Lips, and Greg Carr was the man who made contact with Cox, the punter, at the 30-yard line. Gordon McCarter, the referee, will have the official word. Things have gone well in this game.
Running into the kicker. 7 on the defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Things have gone well for the Redskins in the early going, and here's another break.
Yeah, he hit him. It didn't hit him hard, but enough to call the penalty. And of course, his angle, the thing that's so important for somebody rushing the punter is you've got to go 2 or 3 yards in front of the punter. You have a better chance of knocking the ball down. And if you don't, the punter is going to come right into you.
That was the rookie linebacker Carr, number 91, who picked up the infraction. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have taken a timeout with the first down Washington at the Redskin 45-yard line when we return. Johnny Morris at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, where the Redskins have jumped into a 14-3 lead. We're early in the second period. First down Washington at the 45-yard line. John Wiggins, the running back. Monk in motion. Schrader on the run. The pass is incomplete as he threw it low, intended for Gary Clark, number 84. You know, Johnny, I had a long chat this morning on the telephone with Joe Theismann from his hospital room at Arlington Hospital, and asking him about Jay Schrader and what he expected from the young man today in his first start. And he said, well, the short week might help him. I mentioned that earlier. He said, you know, I think oftentimes all of the football players have too much time to think about things, and he thought that having just the 3 days work bouncing back from the Monday night might be helpful to Schrader today, and we'll expand on that when we get an opportunity. Griffin is in the lineup now at second down. Number 35 has the ball. First down, Griffin into Pittsburgh territory at the 44-yard line. Eric Williams and Hinkle make the tackle after an 11-yard gain.
And good play he goes off the block by Grimm. Watch Grimm pulling out here, and he kicks his man out, Merriweather, and then Griffin turns up the field and turns on the speed and gets a big gain for the Washington Redskins before a bunch of Steelers bring them down.
Just referring back to Joe Theismann, he said he was going to have a bedgate party in his hospital room today. Had some friends coming over to watch the game on television with him. We send along our best, obviously. First down. Schrader rolling to the other side. Get it out of the hands of Monk. The flag is down on the play. A near interception by the Steelers on the deflection. Flag down, downfield of the receiver Monk.
Robin Cole was right there, and the ball was within a foot of him, but he couldn't find it. He looked the wrong way, or he had an easy interception, but we may have a penalty that will negate that possibility anyway.
There is no foul.
No foul.
The quarterback left the pocket, so the contact on the defender was legal. No penalty.
Well, we have a sharp officiating crew. As Schrader rolled out and left the pocket, which makes him an eligible runner, and it takes the situation off. Let's see if we can have. But watch 56 Robin Cole on this play here. There's the jam. Now, there goes the ball up there. He can't find it. He says, where is that ball? Had he turned around the other way, there was Little who almost made the interception, but Cole had the best shot at it. But he is back in the game, so that injury must not have been too serious.
Second and 10. Play action. Schrader with time. Gary Clark can't bring it down. That's a little high for the 5'9" Clark. He showed a vertical leap there, but he needed a ladder to reach that one. 3rd and 10.
It was Williams who put the hit on him, but the thing is, that arm of Schrader was really, boy, he fired that like a rocket.
An injured Steeler down is Harvey Clayton, the right cornerback, number 33. Third-year man from Florida State getting some attention, so we've had hard hitting early here, holding his ankle. The Redskins lost George Rogers earlier, and he's on the bench. Appeared to be in not bad shape when he left. He was able to get to his feet and walked off with some assistance, but has not been back in the game. Riggins and Griffin have been playing there, and Harvey Clayton getting some help to his feet.
If he can't play, they'll miss him. He has been one of the real surprises. Has done very well this year for the Steelers. Done a great job, and it looks like his leg is pretty sore there.
Coming up next, of course, our doubleheader action. You'll see either the Giants at St. Louis in an NFC East matchup or Philadelphia at Dallas. Those two games affecting the race involving the Washington Redskins. So 2 big games later today. And then Thanksgiving Day, again from the NFC East, it'll be the Cardinals against the Cowboys in Dallas, 3:30 Eastern Time. Traditional Thanksgiving Day action here on CBS Sports. Harvey Clayton limping around, but we're glad to see that he's on his feet, unassisted. John Swain has come into the backfield on 3rd down for the Steelers. 3rd and 10. Schrader, slight hesitation away from center, gets lots of time. Flags are down everywhere. He tried to get it to Gary Clark. It's incomplete. And all kinds of flags. Holding will be the call. And it might be the first-year man, Dan McQuaid, the left tackle, number 60.
There was also one downfield.
Holding, number 60 on the offense. Defensive holding, number 26, defense. The penalty's offset, replay, 3rd down.
John Swain, I did spot John Swain put the hold on Keith Griffin. I wasn't able to pick up what happened in the offensive line, but anyway, they offset one another, so the down will be replayed 3rd and long, 3rd and about 10. At that time, the Steelers really dropped off with the 4-man rush and dropped everybody else downfield.
Dan McQuaid told us yesterday, yes, he was embarrassed by the Dallas game in which he was starting for the injured Joe Jacoby, as he is again today. Had some problems that day, and he was glad to have a chance to redeem himself. They didn't let him play Monday night against the Giants. Today he's the starter. Schrader gets some time now, running out of it, gets the ball off, wisely threw it out of bounds with big Keith Willis bearing down on him, number 93. Schrader saw him coming from the blind side, got rid of the football, prevented the loss, and the Redskins will punt.
Boy, he does have a gun for an arm, doesn't he? They say he can throw in baseball. As you know, he was a baseball player, but they say he can throw a home run from home plate. Now, that's a pretty strong arm, isn't it?
Yeah. He played every position while he was in the minor leagues, trying to make it up to the majors in baseball. And when they tried to make him a pitcher, oddly enough, he said, no, I don't want to pitch. I want to be a catcher. He turned to football instead. Got a shot with the Redskins. Stops his punt. Hits at the 15. Takes a Redskin bounce and will be downed at the 2-yard line. Number 45, Barry Wilburn. So the Steelers, with their young quarterback, Scott Campbell, will be starting deep in their own end after the 41-yard punt. 13:23 to play first half. The Redskins continue to lead here in Pittsburgh. With a ill David Woodley at quarterback, who was playing for the injured Mark Malone, Scott Campbell will start from the 2-yard line. His team down 14-3. Play action in the end zone. Gets the ball off, incomplete, intended for Stallworth in the left flat. Scott Campbell, the second-year man from Purdue. And when Malone went down here in Pittsburgh, one of the newspapers conducted a poll, which is always great. The team loves to see that, asking the fans who they thought the quarterback should be, the experienced Woodley or the young Scott Campbell. And 88% of the fans wanted Campbell. But, of course, Woodley, with the coaching staff making the decision rather than the fans, led the Steelers to 3 consecutive victories and would have been the starter today.
Well, they're getting their wish today. Unfortunately for them, not under the best of circumstances.
Ball came loose as Pollard picked up maybe 2 yards out to the 4-yard line, but the play had been whistled dead. And Charles Mann and Dean Hamill stopping Pollard just over the line of scrimmage.
Campbell's not a real tall quarterback. He's only 6 foot. As you look at Clayton there, he has that sprained ankle, or I assume it was a sprained ankle. That's the way he's walking. But in talking, Pollard is down too. Boy, we're having a lot of people banged up in this football game. It gives you an idea how hard they're hitting. There's some tough defenses as Pollard comes off the field. So Ehrenberg has been hurt too. I don't think Ehrenberg, Ehrenberg is in there.
Ehrenberg, number 24, been bothered with a hamstring pull kind of off and on all year. Hurt it again last week against Houston. But he's in there now as Abercrombie and Pollard both come out on third down. They normally would have Ehrenberg in this situation on the passing down.
Morse is also in there.
And Steve Morse has come in to replace Pollard, a rookie from Virginia. Free agent who made this Steelers club. Third down. Campbell from the end zone again. Ehrenberg. Stopped short of the first down at the 10-yard line by Mel Kaufman, number 55. Wilburn, number 45 there as well, and so the Steelers will have to punt.
He was a little bit short of the first down. As you're going to see Dexter Manley on the little crisscross. 72 gets in there and puts a little hit on Campbell after he got rid of the ball. And Ehrenberg is trying to get to that first down marker. He almost does, but not quite, as a good hustle there by number 55, Kaufman.
Steelers had the ball longer than Washington did in the first quarter, but they trail on the scoreboard and have been stopped here. Newsom's punt taken by Jenkins at the 45 into Pittsburgh territory to the 41-yard line of the Steelers, where he's stopped by Fred Small, a 14-yard return, and he has been a key figure in this first half of play for the Washington Redskins.
And the key for him is to go north and south on all these big plays that he's come up with. He's made a few little moves, but basically he's gone straight ahead and doesn't get caught trying to go all the way around everybody for losses. He has gone straight north and south, done a great job, and the special teams has been the difference in this football game so far.
Jay Schrader, 2 of 9 for 36 yards and a touchdown. The big plays have his team in front, and they've got good field position here. Rogers back in action, picks up about 5 yards on first down. We're told that Calvin Muhammad was injured, an ankle injury on one of the kicking plays earlier in the first half, and is not expected to return. He lost his starting wide receiver job to the rookie Gary Clark.
That time the Steelers put 2 linebackers right up in there between the nose tackle and the defensive end, and the Redskins ran right at it.
Wayne Woodruff has come in to replace Harvey Clayton, with Woodruff playing the left corner, Woods moving over to Clayton's spot on the right corner for the Steelers. Rogers picks up a couple of more for the Redskins, getting to the Pittsburgh 33-yard line.
David Little was a great tackle.
It'll leave 3rd and 4, and now look at this. Washington is in their average starting field position in the game so far. They've averaged starting at the Pittsburgh 40-yard line, Pittsburgh from their own 20. And that's certainly reflected in the score. Big plays for the Redskins.
We have Swain on Didier once again out here at the wide receiver spot.
Gary Dunn, the 4th down lineman. The pass complete to Monk. Pushed out of bounds by Woods, but a first down Redskins. Schrader laying that out there perfectly for Art Monk. A 22-yard gain, and the ball will be spotted at the Pittsburgh 13-yard line.
Art Monk, who has 3 100-yard games, and you all know what he did last year, 106 passes, but he just comes across the field as Didier cleared, and Didier, you see 86 is down the field there, and he throws a block on Swain, and finally Woods just barely got a push on him, and Monk was knocked out of bounds. But here the Redskins are down to the 12-yard line already.
53 catches coming into the game, coming off a big night last week when he had 7 against the Giants. Monk for the big one here. Rogers, good defensive pursuit. Woods out there on the corner with the linebacker Hinkle. They just gave him nowhere to go. A loss on the play. Brian Hinkle, a 4-year man from Oregon, and made it possible to move Robin Cole inside.
Keep your eyes on number 53 as he gets through all that traffic there and shows pretty good quickness as Rogers is forced to the outside. He got some help from Woods, and it was a big loss for Washington. They lost almost 3 yards on the play.
Back at the 15-yard line, it'll be 2nd and 13. Redskins. 10:28 to play in the first half. Schrader with time, overthrows Didier. Didier was open in the end zone. Schrader let it fly a little prematurely. And it'll be third down.
Third down.
Griffin comes in. And asking Joe Gibbs about whether he would maybe lighten his game plan for Schrader. He said, gee, Monday night, he suggested doing that for the remainder of the Giants game, and Schrader said, no, I'm ready. I know it all, even though I don't get to practice during the week. He works with the films and with the coaching staff in preparation, and so today they've got the full game plan in. Now, how much they'll use remains to be seen. Third down. Schrader up the middle of Griffin. Inside the 5 to the 2-yard line. Schrader was on the money with that one. Shell and Woodruff reacting defensively for the Steelers. It'll be close to a first down.
Great play. Watch Griffin. He's number 35. He has to sneak through all that traffic there, and Schrader just waits for him as the Steelers drop down the field, and he makes the grab and almost broke it for the touchdown. Finally brought down by a host of Steelers. So the Steelers are down at the about the 3. They got about a yard to go, and they're going to go for the field goal instead of taking the chance on the first down. So
came up fourth and about a yard. Mosley from the 10. Schrader will hold. 20-yard try for the veteran Mark Mosley from the hash mark, and he's got it. So the Redskins add 3 more here at Three Rivers Stadium with 9:28 remaining in the first half of play. The Redskins 17-3. Playing surface now with 9:28 to go here in this first half, and the Redskins on a 20-yard field goal by Mark Mosley, having gained possession 3 times in Pittsburgh territory, have scored each time. And Cox will kick it off. The punter who does the kickoffs and any long field goals out of the considered range of the veteran Mark Mosley. Cox comes up a little short here. The ball comes down at the 7, taken by Spencer. Spencer piled up literally at the 28-yard line of Pittsburgh. Anthony Jones with initial contact, number 82. And Scott Campbell will come out to handle the quarterback duties. Again, if you joined us along the way, David Woodley scheduled to start, as he has the last 3 weeks. Came up with a stomach virus, and we chatted yesterday with him at Saturday practice, and he certainly was feeling fine and was eager to play against the Redskins, a team that the Steelers haven't met since 1979, but Woodley had played against them in the Super Bowl when he was the quarterback for Miami and was eager for a revenge opportunity. Pollard, the ball carrier, gets loose and has a first down. Pollard's injury earlier was to his ribs. He suffered them last week against Houston, finished that game, including a big run late in the game, and he's back in there again now.
And there was some penetration. He got away from the penetration, got a good block from Boris, and then just took off down the field, and it was finally Vernon Dean who brought him down. Frank Pollard back off the field now, but he's a tough guy.
Steve Morse gives him a rest. First down, Steelers at their own 41. Play action. Campbell has a man open. Lewis Lips. Steelers at the 17.
And what a move Lips put on Darrell Green. He faked him out on the short pass and got by him. Campbell had plenty of time to throw the ball, and Lips was wide open for the touchdown. You don't see Darrell Green get beat that often and that badly, but he got beat that time, and Lips once again comes through with a key play for the Steelers.
42-yard gain. Campbell is 4 of 8 now, 85 yards, and the Steelers in scoring territory at the 17-yard line. The give is to Abercrombie. Good hole for Abercrombie. To the 8-yard line. Jordan and Coughlin on the tackle for the Redskins. The speedster from Baylor.
And that time they brought the tackle. Ray Penny came over and threw a nice block as he went through on the trap, and really threw a good block. Ray Penny did the job that time for Abercrombie.
Tom Beasley has come in for Dean Hamill at right defensive tackle for Washington. Beasley, a former Pittsburgh Steeler, number 67. Second and a yard to go. That is Pollard, and he has the first down at the 5.
It was almost the identical play that time as they pull the tackle and bring him across the middle, and he ran into Okowitz. It was Penny, 65, caving the middle linebacker, trying to crush up the hole.
Ray Penny coming back to the Steelers after 3 years in the USFL. It is first and goal at the 5-yard line. Steelers. Timeout has been called on the field. And taken by the Redskins. There you see Mark Malone in your picture there without the helmet on.
And Scott Campbell goes to the sidelines. As you know, the Steelers believe in letting the quarterback call his own plays, which puts added pressure on Scott Campbell.
Thanksgiving Day, the NFL Today begins our coverage of this big NFC East battle, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys, next Thursday at 3:30 Eastern Time. Always a pleasant way to spend Thanksgiving afternoon. And then next Sunday, doubleheader action, the NFL Today with Minnesota at Philadelphia, or the Rams against the New Orleans, 12:30 Eastern Time, the early action. And then that'll be followed by the 49ers and the Redskins. And obviously a big tilt for both those teams. The Redskins, a victory today, if they get one over Pittsburgh, would actually have the same record as they did a year ago, because as you see here, they would move to 7-5, and after 12 games a year ago, that's where they were. They went on to win the Eastern Division with an 11-5 mark. They're right now a game behind the Giants in Dallas. Philadelphia, boy, they just don't want to go away. They're going to stay right in there.
No, they
Ron
don't.
Jaworski has done a great job coming back after losing his starting job.
The Redskins are traditionally a late blooming team. As the season goes on, the Redskins get better. Of course, the same applies to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has had that history also.
2 tight ends are in, along with an extra tackle, Pete Rostowski. Gothard and Cunningham both in there. And Penny moves out to become the tight end on the left side. And they will often run him into a pattern. They're going to run the ball to Pollard, and he is met behind the line of scrimmage. 3 Redskins there. Initial contact from the linebacker Mel Kaufman, number 55. Pittsburgh actually has 140 yards of offense going into that last play to only 98 for the Redskins, and yet they're down 17-3.
And you can see the added pad that Kaufman has on back of his neck. Some of the more players are going to that, more protection, so you don't get that head snap back, which can be one of the dangerous injuries in pro football.
Luigi Thompson has come in at wide receiver. He's flanked out to the right. They steal it to him in the corner. Incomplete. The ball was there. Darrell Green went up, but it looked like he missed his attempt to bat it away. Thompson, it appeared, had a chance to catch it.
Well, the reason they go to Thompson in this situation, because Darrell Green is not very tall, and Thompson is tall, and he was hoping that he could out-jump him, and actually had the ball in his mitts. He got the ball up there and should have hung on to the ball.
That might have been it. The mitts were on. I know you don't like to see those guys wearing those gloves.
It's not that cold out here. You know,
he's 6'6". And that's one of the plays that they'll go to down here to get him high in the corner. Now Campbell rolling. Touchdown! Louis Lips. Sure-handed second-year man from Southern Mississippi comes up with the catch, and the Steelers finally get a touchdown.
And the key for Pittsburgh was to roll Campbell, get him away from that rush, and he was wide open, made sure of the ball. Louis Lips, who comes up with the big catch, as he has done all year. He has a great average.
Anderson with a point after. It is good. Louis Lips, 11th touchdown of the year. That's tops in the American Football Conference, as the Steelers right back in the thick of it here with 5:54 still to go. Hot Lips hits.
And what a confidence builder for Scott Campbell. I mean, that's the key for Pittsburgh. Sure, Louis Lips made the grab and leads the AFC and has done it all year. But what the Steelers needed is a good game from Scott Campbell. And the key was getting away from those big Washington Redskin defensive linemen in any possible kind of a blitz. And he got out there and had a chance to survey the field and drilled it right in there.
For Louis Lips, touchdown 11. For Gary Anderson, his 110th consecutive extra point. Last one he missed way back in 1983, second game of the season. There's Lips. 3 catches, 59 yards, and a touchdown. The conference leading punt returner. He's just dangerous anytime he can get his hands on the football, and they'll use him on the end around occasionally. Pittsburgh not a big gimmick team, but there's a guy that they will occasionally let run the ball on a reverse because he's just got great speed and running ability.
That was probably the Steelers' most important drive of this football game because they were down 17-3. If they give up the ball and say Redskins get on the board again, it could get out of sight. So that makes it a brand new ball game.
The NFL today coming up soon at halftime. We've got 5:54 left in our game. Brent Nerve-Cross with scores and highlights and a special feature on Dwayne Thomas. Remember him? Short kickoff taken by Wansley. Otis Wansley gets over the 25 to the 30, about the 32-yard line.
They weren't going to let Jenkins get his hands on the ball.
I don't blame them. So the Steelers go 71 yards in 7 plays, 3 passes, culminating Campbell to Lips from 5 yards out. And the youngster from Purdue is now 5 of 10 on the day, 90 yards and a touchdown. They used up 3:34 on the clock. So Jay Schrader making his first start while he has his team on top. And the personal passing department has been overshadowed by the youngster on the other side. Interesting developments today. Griffin is stuffed.
David Little filled the hole, and he hit Griffin before he got started. There was a big hole, but he was filling that hole. And watch him move around before the snap of the ball. Then watch number 50 come in. It looks like a gaping hole. 50 comes out of nowhere and stops Griffin. Great play by David Little.
Gain of about 2.5. Second down. Redskins, the crowd alive. Griffin hurdling. Stopped after a gain of 2, maybe 3 at the most. Little again, number 50. The 5-year man from Florida.
He had some help on that one, but he was the primary guy as the Redskins went with their counter tray, and that time the Steelers really boxed it up.
What do they do on the counter tray, Johnny? Gary Dunn has come in. John Swain is in on 3rd down, 3rd and 5.
4 defensive linemen for the Steelers.
Incomplete. Loose ball picked up by the Steelers. Looked to me like an incomplete pass. It's going to be Steeler ball. Oh, boy. Listen to the crowd.
The Redskins are arguing that Monk never had control of the football and that Swain put the hit on him and the ball was jolted loose. Now, we're going to see it on the replay, and you can make the judgment for yourself.
John Swain is the guy that hits him, Johnny, but it looked to me like the ball came loose immediately.
Well, let's see. Did he take a step after he got the ball? Boy, that's a tough call. Tough call.
Big one for the Steelers and their fans. It's recovered by Gary Dunn, number 67. And the Steelers have a first down at the 31-yard line. Pollard and Abercrombie, the running back. Campbell with time. He's got a man. It's almost intercepted. The ball came up short, intended for Stallworth, and it was Curtis Jordan, the free safety, number 22, who had a chance to catch the ball.
Good play by Jordan, but actually the pass was a little bit short because Stallworth had a step. Had it been up and over, he could have had a touchdown. But watch Jordan, 22. He plays the ball and goes back, and you can see Stallworth was open, but Jordan saved the play when the pass was a little bit short.
Steve Hamilton, number 64, Monty Coleman, number 51, have come in defensively for the Redskins. Rich Ehrenberg is in now in the backfield for Pittsburgh, 2nd and 10. Campbell under pressure, screen pass, Ehrenberg. Inside the 20, a flag down, and maybe a face mask. Rafael Cherry on the tackle. Steelers do not use a lot of screen passes, And it looked like they caught the Redskins with something they hadn't seen. You know, when you don't prepare for teams, they haven't played since 1979. Some of these things that you don't use too often, they've got no tendencies or frequencies to look for. You can get away with a play like that. And there was a penalty against Washington. 11-yard gain, and they'll get some more.
Yeah, that was a nice-looking play that the Steelers came up with a couple of fake actions, and they set up the screen back to the right side.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 37 on the defense. Half the distance, first down.
The ironic thing is that Cherry have done a good job. You're going to see Wolfley, 73, come out and is in front of the screen, and he's going to block on 37. That was a nice play action there. They throw the screen. Now you see 73 right here blocking on Cherry. Right there, Cherry, 37, gets away from the block and then just goes right for the head and yanks his head and his face mask down. So he had a good play turned into a bad play because of some over-exuberance.
The Steelers at the 10-yard line of Washington. Pollard, nowhere to go. Excellent defensive work along the front line of the Washington Redskins. Hamill, Kaufman, and Big Butts just kind of stirring things up there, so there was nowhere for Pollard to go except into the hands of Hamill and Kaufman.
Second down.
These two teams have played each other a lot of times over the many years. Not so much in the last few years, but the overall record is 41-27-4 in favor of Washington.
Coleman is in for Olkowitz. Second and goal inside the 10. Campbell with time. Complete touchdown. Ehrenberg.
Not bad for a man playing on a sore hamstring muscle. He goes out and then fakes like he was going to the outside, came to the inside, and watched him with two hands in the body. Made sure he had that grab before Cherry put the hit on him, and it was a touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nice going for Rich Ehrenberg.
Gary Anderson can tie it up, and he does. What a first half. 3 minutes and 7 seconds still to play. Nobody could have predicted this from these two outstanding defensive teams. Big plays have been made by both teams now as Washington got the early start, 14-3 lead. The Steelers in the second period have battled back.
And also the fact that you have two young quarterbacks that haven't played, you wouldn't expect all the scoring. As you look at Chuck Noll there, 17 years with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and who will forget his first year, 1-13, and then he went on and the team gradually improved in a bunch of Super Bowls, and he wants to get back there again.
The Steelers would like to march all of their opponents through the lobby of their executive offices so they could see those Super Bowl trophies there. 4 of them all under one glass case. It'd be a little bit discouraging if you could arrange that. That's Mark Malone on the left of your screen. He's out with a toe injury, but they had to suit him up today. He was not even going to dress for this game, so we were told. Woodley scheduled to start. Campbell is the backup. But when Woodley came up with a virus, Malone had to get in the uniform. All right, this is Jenkins. He's had a 95-yarder already and gets out to the 31.
Boy, he really does go north and south. Let's take a look at that controversial fumble once again on the pass to Art Monk. I'll let you look at it twice so you at home can make your own decision as to whether it was an improper call by the officials. As you see Schrader, he goes back, hits Monk.
From that angle, does not appear that he had possession to me, Johnny, but that's part of the game of football. Those things happen. You just have to suck it up and get going again. It's first down Washington at the 30-yard line. Griffin plows for about 5. 185-pounder.
Looks like Russ Grimm is hurt for the Washington Redskins, and they've had a lot of injuries also, especially in that offensive line. A lot of people playing hurt and a lot of people out and people moving around.
This would be a very severe circumstance because they've got the first-year man Dan McQuaid in for the injured Joe Jacoby. And they've got Bostic just coming off an injury in for the injured Donnelly at center. If Grimm goes out of there, it leaves them only a rookie, Raleigh McKenzie from Tennessee, to come in and play. They would have effectively two rookies. McQuaid is a first-year man. That means that he was hurt last year, played some football, but is effectively a rookie, has had virtually no experience.
Just from looking at it, it doesn't look like Grimm is going to play, at least not in the near future, in the next quarter or so.
And now Donnelly, who has a broken bone in his hand, suffered in the New York game, could play and may indeed be the guy that they elect to bring in there. And they can either play Bostic at guard or have Bostic stay at center and play Donnelly at guard. I would think Bostic will go to guard because he played there Monday night against the Giants.
At any rate, the point is they've got a lot of different people and people moved around. And when you have a running game that Washington relies on so much, you know, I mean, that's tough to overcome.
It certainly is. And rookie quarterback in Jay Schrader, again, technically not a rookie, but effectively a rookie. In his second year out of UCLA, but his first ever start. Let's see that play to Monk as they attend to Grimm. We'll see it one more time, and again, you can decide here if indeed this should be a completed pass and a fumble or an incompletion. Does he have full possession of the ball here and take a step with it?
Well, he was starting to lift that leg. It is such a... Now, remember, you're seeing it in slow motion. You're seeing it in slow motion. It's a tough call.
Yeah.
If you can imagine the officials seeing it in regular speed action.
Yeah, and especially with him being bent over like that, they would not have a very good view of that play. And there is Donnelly.
Boy, if you can't block you, he can club you. That's one thing.
That's for the broken bone in his hand. As this battered Redskin team, a very physical, emotional game on Monday night as they lost their quarterback, Joe Theismann, and rallied with a very gutty display to beat the Giants. And Grimm being helped out, that does not look very good. Now, meanwhile, the Steelers have had an injury of their own. Keith Willis, the left defensive end, has left the game, and the rookie Darrell Sims has come in to replace him. Evidently, Willis banged up on that same play that caused the injury to Grimm.
And he's the one guy that's been playing quite a bit lately and been pretty steady player, too. Willis for Pittsburgh has had a lot of injuries in the defensive line. So, as usual in the NFL, the injury situation plays such a key part.
Well, does it ever?
And that's why a lot of the coaches were really against cutting back to the 45-man player limit.
Bostic has moved to left guard, and Donnelly, big cast and all, has moved into center. It's not a snapping in, but you can see it'll affect his blocking. Griffin is stuffed. No gain. Darrell Sims and Mike Merriweather. Merriweather, 57. He's pumped up. Four-year man from Pacific. What an athlete this guy is.
Yeah. Tony Dungy said he's the best athlete on the team as far as out-and-out being athletic ability, being able to run and hit and everything else.
Well, yes, and Tony Dungy said they'll let him pick up receivers on pass coverage. They know he's got the speed to cover. So we've got a timeout on the field here. 2 minutes remaining first half. It'll be 3rd and 5 when we return. All tied at 17. Up, blowing the Steelers banner around. 2 minutes to play first half. Redskin ball, 3rd down, a long 5 at their own 35-yard line. They led 14-3 and were tied at 17. The awesome Chicago Bears beating up on Atlanta.
Monsters of the Midway,
And
20-0.
William Perry has scored a touchdown. Cleveland in front of Cincinnati, 10-3 at halftime. Steelers fans watching that score closely. Schrader under pressure, gets some time and unloads. Come in and out of the hands of Clark. Eric Williams put a pretty good smack on him, and Clark is slow to get up. The pass a little bit behind him. He reached back for it, and as he had the ball on his hands, along came Eric Williams.
He had a long time to throw the ball as he adjusted in the pocket and waited for Clark to come across. He was looking for somebody, and Williams might have got him in the ribs as the ball was a little bit behind him. But here comes Williams. Oh, boy, he really hit him. The Steeler defense, as usual, tough hitters.
And also leaving the field for the Redskins, the left tackle Dan McQuaid, who was playing for the injured Joe Jacoby. So we have had just one injury after another here today, affecting both teams, but most particularly the Redskins. And the Redskins have now brought in a defensive player, Steve Hamilton, into the offensive line. A first-year man from East Carolina. Has been in on 1 or 2 defensive plays, but primarily plays on the special teams. But with the condition of there he is, number 64, as they attend to Clark. And Clark, by the way, we're happy to say, is up on his feet and walking under his own power to the sideline. Redskins have been charged with the timeout. And Clark looks like he's all right. But meanwhile, a defensive player, Steve Hamilton, will try and find out from the Skins if he's had any offense in his background at college. Probably so. Well, we're on 4th down. He might have been there anyway on the special team, so we'll have to wait and see. 4th and about 6. Redskins have the punt from the 25. High, beautiful punt by Cox. Taken by Lewis Lips, and he's dancing his way over the 20 to the 22-yard line. And we'll watch that next offensive series. They'll try and get McQuaid patched up and ready to go. 54-yard punt for Cox. A 10-yard return. Yeah, the Steelers from their own 21-yard line will have 1:41 remaining in this tie ball game. And we remind you that this Thanksgiving weekend, CBS Sports will present 2 exciting college football matchups. Friday at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific, Virginia and Maryland in a clash of ACC rivals. Saturday, Notre Dame against Miami, ranked number 4. Friday and Saturday on CBS Sports. Pollard got maybe 2. Big pileup in the middle of that defensive line. Mahan and Malott on the tackle.
The hurry-up offense. Ehrenberg is in there.
2nd and 8. Campbell gets some time, and it's incomplete. Intended for Ehrenberg, a flag down. Mel Kaufman on the coverage over there.
He made contact before the ball got there. I don't know if that's going to be the call, but Kaufman hit him before the ball got there.
Well, we'll wait and see what Gordon McCarter rules here against the Redskins. Ehrenberg was hit about a yard short of the first down marker, and
Pass interference, defense, automatic first down.
he'll get the first down on the interference call over the 30-yard line. Pollard, the lone setback with Ehrenberg on the wing. Almost intercepted, and is now on the deflection. Vernon Dean dropped by Ehrenberg out at the 48-yard line. Darrell Green was the man who had the first shot at it. Couldn't hold it, and it popped right up to Vernon Dean.
Yes, it was a low pass, and it looked like, I think it was Darrell Green, 28, as the ball comes down, and he might have hit it with his hand there, and it pops up into the arms of Vernon Dean. Says, look, Ma, look what I got. So he takes off and turns a little bit to the offense. And the Washington Redskins now have the ball with enough time to get down to get some points. There's 1:08 left in the first half.
First down. Dan McQuaid is back in at left tackle, number 60 for the Redskins. A bunch of banged up and gutty performers on both teams today. Griffin hit by Woodruff, number 49 of the Steelers. Got to the 40, maybe the 42-yard line. Let's see where they spot it, and it'll be right at the 40. Donnie Shell made the tackle, and the Redskins take a timeout. 55 seconds remaining first half. A tie football game. 2 young quarterbacks battling each other here today, and they are dead even at 17 all. The Steelers at 6-5, ahead of Cincinnati and Cleveland at 5-6 in the tight Central Division of the AFC. And Washington at 6-5, just a game back of Dallas and the Giants in the NFC East. Last timeout taken by the Redskins.
Yeah, they're arguing about the timeout situation with that last one, and with the injury within the 2 minutes. Took one of their timeouts that they didn't realize had been taken. That was charged to them. So they're out of timeouts down to the 40-yard line of Pittsburgh.
So Jay Schrader has not started a game since 1978. Started only once in college. That was in Japan, of all places, in the Mirage Bowl against Oregon State. What an interesting career he's had. Left the college football scene to try professional baseball, gave up on that, called his old offensive coordinator at UCLA, got himself a look. In fact, he was actually in the Pittsburgh camp for a look-see back in 1984. But it was the Redskins who gave him the opportunity, grooming him to be Joe Theismann's successor, and here he is with the injury to Theismann, getting an opportunity to be the starter this year.
He looks a little bit like Joe Montana. He's kind of blonde like Joe Montana, has the same facial features. But so far, or at least this young stage of his career, he's not a Joe Montana, but he's got an arm.
Washington's drive began at the Pittsburgh 47. At the 40, second down, and a long three. Prater gets time, intended for Monk. Three Steelers are there. Merriweather bats the ball away. Mike Merriweather almost stride for stride with Monk all the way down the field, and then had deep help from the secondary.
Well, you can see this time he threw into a whole bunch of coverage. Our Steelers coming from all over the place, and Merriweather was the one who knocked the ball away. The man who is open, who's caught a couple and who was open that time, was Griffin coming out of the backfield. The Steelers are dropping way off.
Third down and 3. Didier, the tight end, is split wide to the left. Prater complete. They have the first down, Monk. And they're going to put the ball down, it appears, right at the marker.
They'll probably ask for a measurement here to get some time. No, I guess they're giving him the first down.
29 seconds and counting. Not moved the sticks yet. Prater, out of bounds, intended for Keith Griffin. A little extracurricular activity down here. Willis, he's really stirred up. Flags fly. It looked like Huff, number 61, and Willis is yet to calm down. The four-year man from Northeastern College in Boston. Boy, I
think that may go against the Steelers because of the fact that Willis didn't stop. He just kept going and kept going and kept swinging. And whereas if he'd have backed off when they were trading blows, that might have been penalties against both players.
Let's see what Gordon McCarter said.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness after the play, number 93 on the defense. 15 and first down.
Well, there you heard it, loud and clear.
That could cost him 3 points.
Well, you know, that was a strange circumstance in that hurry-up. Let's see the end of the scuffle here.
Okay, now see they're apart. Boy, he put a shot on Huff, didn't he?
I never understand that, hitting a guy with a face guard on.
Yeah, he's probably got 3 broken fingers right now. But now they're definitely in field goal territory. Now it's 17 seconds, no timeout, so they're going to go for the field goal right now. They're afraid that possibly somebody could catch a short pass and they wouldn't be able to get the kickoff. I'd have to agree with that decision to go for the field goal right now.
A little scrambling around, they're lining up in the blocking scheme. They got an extra man on the field. Hustling off is Huff.
3 seconds left.
From the 29. Mosley, he's got it. A 39-yard field goal. With 13 seconds still on the clock, time remaining first half, the Redskins have retaken the lead with a 39-yard field goal by Mosley, who calmly surveyed the scene with his offensive line blocking in front of him, running around. They had problems with who was supposed to be out there, evidently, but he was just watching those goalposts. He knew where he was going to kick the ball.
And he had to watch the clock. They were down to 3 seconds on the 30-second clock. So, considering all the circumstances, the Redskins came out of that smelling like a rose. And Keith Willis, if the Redskins end up winning this by 3 points or a 1-point game, they can look back to a blow that he struck on Huff that was, in the end, could not be worth it.
The NFL Today coming up very shortly now at halftime. Brent and Herb will have the scores and highlights from around the rest of the league. Important action today in the NFL. And our feature presentation, the Legends of the Game series, will bring you Dwayne Thomas. Former Dallas Cowboy, had quite an interesting career, and I'm sure you'll find that feature most interesting. Tom Brookshire remembers him particularly well, as I recall.
They are Steelers looking for a possible onside kick. However, I don't think that the Redskins would do that with 13 seconds left in the game.
In the half.
And 13 seconds left in the half. I just don't think they would. They'd probably try and squib it past it.
Cox kicks the line drive. Ball bounces off Spencer and is picked up by Ehrenberg. Ehrenberg nowhere to go. As traffic accumulated at the 20-yard line. 5 seconds remain. So Washington, getting the ball each time they have scored in Pittsburgh territory, have made it count. And of course, the first occasion was off the opening kickoff return by Ken Jenkins that set them up on the 3-yard line. And they have taken advantage of the territorial opportunities.
Joe Gibbs is probably going to have a lead at halftime, but I'm sure he didn't envision this game going like it has.
Oh, who could have?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like the Steelers are lined up to just run it down, and they do. So the first half comes to a close here with two young quarterbacks, Jay Schrader and an unscheduled Scott Campbell, dueling through the first 30 minutes as Joe Gibbs goes off saying, boy, you can't ever tell about football in the NFL. The old cliche on any given Sunday. On this given Sunday, Washington leads by 3, 20-17 at halftime here in Pittsburgh. Our starter, and the biggest surprise was to him. David Woodley, scheduled to start, came up with a stomach virus this morning, and Scott Campbell got the start, and he has his team very much in the football game. Jay Schrader, scheduled to start, his first ever NFL start because of the injury to Joe Theismann on Monday night. And there you see he is 7 for 18 in this first half, 72 yards. Both of these young quarterbacks, despite their inexperience, have shown quite a bit of poise. Campbell perhaps looks a little rustier throwing the football so far in the first half. He was 7 of 14, however, 110 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 intercept. And Schrader, 7 of 18 and 72 yards. So there's Campbell's stats. His team trails by 3. The shadows have now completely covered the playing surface here at Three Rivers Stadium, and hence the temperature dropping a little bit. We're probably around the 40-degree mark. It was 41 at kickoff, so perhaps into the high 30s. But dry and clear.
The Steelers are going to get the ball first, and as I mentioned, it seemed like they were starting to kind of turn the tide there in the second quarter, late in the second quarter, as they got back in this football game. Then there was that field goal at the end of the half that put Washington back on top. So we'll see how the Steelers do. First possession.
Steve Cox took over the punting duties for Washington, and Jeff Hayes was hurt in the loss to Chicago. Todd Spencer and Rich Ehrenberg are back deep for the Steelers to our left. And Cox nails this kickoff to the 1-yard line. Spencer pulled down from behind, got to about the 20, and it looked like Barry Wilburn with the initial contact, number 45. So the Steelers, with Scott Campbell bringing them out, start from their own 20. Mark Malone has gotten into uniform. He has a toe injury and has missed the last 3 games in which David Woodley has started, but forced into the backup role here today. They'll go as far as they can with Campbell, we assume. Pollard and Abercrombie both rushing for more than 100 yards a week ago against Houston. Been shut down today. This is Abercrombie, and a good piece of running by Abercrombie. Charles Mann hauls him down after a gain of 5. 2nd and 5, Steelers. Abercrombie had 107 against Houston. Pollard had 123.
Another trap for the Steelers. They're doing a lot of trapping against that 4-man defensive line of Washington. And they're a trapping team to begin with. So,
well, yes, I thought that might be an advantage for him, but Chuck Noll said, no, I don't think it will be. We haven't faced enough 4-man front. Abercrombie comes out. Ehrenberg is in. Goes in motion to give us to Pollard, and he is stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
And it was a big Dave Butts who was across the line of scrimmage there and kind of jammed up that play, and then the rest of the Redskins came in and piled on. And so the Steelers are going to be in a 3rd and long situation.
Loss of 3 yards.
Ehrenberg will stay in, as he's usually there on 3rd and long. The tight end Cunningham comes out. It's a little bit unusual from around the league to have a back come in and replace the tight end. Coleman in the lineup defensively for the Redskins. 3rd down, nearly 8. Campbell for Stallworth, incomplete. The ball was there, but so were two Redskins, and he was just steered out of bounds. Raphael Cherry and Monty Coleman, both on the coverage of the veteran John Stallworth.
And yes, you can take a look at number 51, Monty Coleman. He puts the jam on and then runs with Stallworth, turns around, just puts his hands up there and got in the way of Stallworth as they had to punt.
Harry Newsom's punt is short, taken by Jenkins. Jenkins dances his way and off balance, fell for about 5 yards, and again the Redskins in Pittsburgh territory. Fred Small finally stopped him, but a 14-yard return has Washington again in Steeler territory at the 40-yard line.
Well, we talked about field position in the first half, and the same trend has developed in the second half. Thanks to Mr. Jenkins, north-south, as I talked about before. He is quick right up the middle, isn't he?
They've scored each time they've started in Steeler territory. You see right now the Steelers with more first downs and more total yardage. And on the scoreboard, the Skins on top by 3. First down. Warren in motion. Riggins to the 36-yard line.
Stopped by Hinkle and Merriweather.
Mike Merriweather and Brian Hinkle, the two outside linebackers, pinching in to make the stop. And they spot it just outside the 36.
And you got to feel a little bit sorry for Donnelly at playing center with that big cast on his left hand, and he's got the one hand down, and he's trying to ward out to make a block.
Grimm obviously has not returned. Bostic continues at left guard for Russ Grimm, hurt in the first half. Play action fake to Riggins. The pass to Riggins. Hit at the 30-yard line. Just short of the first down. Robin Cole and David Little, the inside linebackers, make the stop.
Third down and 1.
There's the man playing center with that wrap and cast on there. But
you can see number 53, Bostic, right next to him. Bostic had been the starting center, a Pro Bowler. He was hurt. Donnelly became the starter. Bostic back off injured reserve. Now playing at left guard for the injured Grimm.
Third and short.
Anthony Jones in as an extra blocker. Wansley the lead man. Riggins has the first down inside the 30 to the 28.
I think the Steelers were offsides anyway.
A flag down.
Flag on the play.
And that's the signal. Steelers on the 4th and short, a little too eager. So the Redskins will have first down.
Off. Number 99 defense. Penalty accepted. 5 yards. First down.
Darrell Sims, the rookie number 1 pick from Wisconsin, played well against Houston last week, but has had his problems in his rookie season in the early going. Fans and media had expected more of a number 1 than they were getting, and Chuck Noll himself indicated some displeasure with the play of Sims, but yesterday he said to us, hey, you know, he's a rookie, and it takes a while to learn how to play in this league against the top players every week. Warren in motion, first down, Redskins. Riggins fouls for about 3 yards. They'll spot it near the 22-yard line of Pittsburgh. We're just underway in the second half with the Redskins on top by a field goal.
And we don't know whether Joe Gibbs decided to go with Riggins here in the second half, or whether Rogers is still hurt, or what the situation was, but it looked like Riggins wasn't going to play except in a tough yardage situation, but now here he is.
Well, when Rogers left in the first half, he came back for a play, but apparently the word is now that he did suffer a slight concussion, so they'll probably sit him out the rest of the way. Riggins fouls to the 20-yard line. It'll leave third and about 5 for the Redskins.
Stopped by Little.
So this already battered Redskin team suffering injuries to Calvin Muhammad, George Rogers, Russ Grimm in this game.
And there are the signals going in, and you can see who's signaling him in. The young man from Mexico.
Dave Laufenberg played his college football at Indiana, does his fishing in Mexico, and that's where he was Monday night watching the Redskins, and he saw Joe Theismann go down, got in touch with the Redskins, who were trying to get in touch with him because he had been at their camp, indeed was with them last year. And they were glad to get him back. On the 49-man roster, Joe Gibbs said he would have made the team this year as a third quarterback. Third down. Complete. Monk. First down to the 10-yard line of the Steelers. Eric Williams and Mike Merriweather stopped him from going farther, but an 11-yard gain.
This time he kept Griffin 35 in there as the blocker. The little guy was staying in there as a blocker, and Schrader just looked for Monk down and stopped, made the reception, and the first down. Big first down for the Redskins.
They're at the 9-yard line, first and goal. Monk's fourth catch of the day and 28 yards. Warren lines up on the right side. Griffin upset with a beautiful tackle by Donnie Shell, the safety, coming up to fill in that hole, and he just cartwheeled Keith Griffin. The gain will be less than a yard.
That's a tough play for a defensive back. As you can see, the Redskins brought their off lineman across, and 31 comes in there, gets through those big offensive linemen, and just upset Griffin, stopped him in his tracks. Second down and about 9.
Schrader, 9 for 20. 88 yards and a touchdown. Tight end Didier wide to the right. Quickly, the Monk hit at the 3-yard line and stopped at the 1. Donnie Shell and Rick Woods, 31 and 22 for the Steelers. It'll be third and goal, and the ball is just outside the 1-yard line.
As Monk goes off the field, that's a nice pattern he runs. He runs from that slot position, just goes down and fakes like he's going across the field and just kind of button hooks there.
His fifth catch of the day. He's up to 36 yards.
And here will come that cast into your view right there. It looks like a leg.
All of the big guys in on the goal line defense for the Steelers. Extra tight end in for Washington. Riggins, touchdown.
There's a flag down on the field up in the end zone, but I think the Steelers were offsides again, so I think it's going to be a touchdown for Washington.
Offside, defense, penalty decline, touchdown.
Well, they were kind enough to not put a number on the infraction.
There were about 3 of them, Tim.
A Washington touchdown play.
You could see there, you saw right at the beginning of that picture as Riggins stormed into the end zone. You can see, watch the defensive line start to move a little bit before the ball was snapped, and Little was screened off and he couldn't get to Riggins.
Mosley with a point after, and the Redskins strike quickly again in the second half. 8:28 still remains. In the third quarter, it is 27-17. 116 touchdowns in his illustrious career, in his 14th season in the NFL, and now second on the NFL all-time list for touchdowns.
Behind,
oh, you remember him,
Jimmy Brown. Of those 116, 104 of them have been rushing for John Riggins.
Well, right now, any controversy about who ought to be playing, Rogers or Riggins, getting the action. When one guy's hurt, you're glad to have both of them. From the goal line, Spencer. Out to the 23-yard line, where Kevin Williams, number 34, reserve defensive back for Washington, makes the tackle. 8:18 remaining, third period, and now a 10-point margin. Scott Campbell brings out the Steelers. And the Skins going 40 yards in 8 plays, used up 4:57 on the clock. A little more typical Washington-style football on that drive. Washington has now scored each of the 5 times that they have begun a drive in Pittsburgh territory. Campbell on first down. Stallworth, incomplete. The ball a little low for Stallworth. He went skidding to the artificial surface here at Three Rivers Stadium to try and make the low catch. Couldn't do it. Wilburn had the coverage, number 45.
But Scott Campbell threw that ball to the right spot, inside and low in there, into the stomach, but Stallworth was not able to hang on. As Scott Campbell is showing me something. You know, if you look back in the records, he's the second all-time passer in Big Ten history. That's pretty impressive. The Big Ten's a big conference.
From Purdue, the Boilermaker will throw on second down. Fires it out for Ehrenberg. Ehrenberg with Coleman in pursuit. What an effort by Ehrenberg up the sideline. Coleman thought he had him in his sights. Let's see where they spot the ball. It's going to be close to the first down. Just short for Rich Ehrenberg, the second-year man from Colgate, drafted in the 9th round last year, and has been a wonderfully pleasant surprise for the Steelers and Pittsburgh fans. It'll be 3rd down and under a yard at the 32-yard line of Pittsburgh. We would like to welcome those of you who have just joined us from the Chicago-Atlanta game here in Pittsburgh. The Redskins lead by 10. Steelers have a 3rd and less than a yard. Pollard diving to get the first down at the Steeler 33-yard line, and it'll be very close indeed. We have 2 young starters at quarterback. Jay Schrader for the injured Joe Theismann. You probably all knew about that start today, but Scott Campbell has started for the Pittsburgh Steelers in place of David Woodley, scheduled to start today, came up with the stomach virus, and Scott Campbell, the second-year man from Purdue, who's appeared in only 1 game so far this season, has been the starter. The Redskins jumped into a 14-3 lead at the end of the first quarter, and then the Steelers came roaring back in the second period to tie it at 17 as we watch the measurement here. Mark Mosley's field goal gave Washington a 20-17 lead. And then John Riggins has scored here in the 3rd quarter. 27-17. Injuries affecting both lineups. And, of course, the illness to Pittsburgh's David Woodley. The Steelers first down from their own 33-yard line. Pollard and Abercrombie, both 100-yard runners last week against Houston, have been stopped in this game so far. Pollard, close to a 10-yard pickup. Tripped up by Mel Kaufman. The 6-year veteran from Baylor has 32 yards on 14 carries today.
And this was a case where Dexter Manley, 72, has made so many good stops. He came from the backside there, 72, and couldn't quite bring Pollard down. And Pollard heading for another 100-yard game. He needs to average only 63 yards per game to wind up with 1,000 yards. And that would be something very satisfying to Frank Pollard. He's worked hard.
Gave him a yard.
Well, there's Manley again. That time he did get in on the tackle.
Abercrombie hit right at the line of scrimmage, and there'll be very little, if any, gain.
Well, Dexter Manley has really had a hot game, putting the pressure on the passer and coming from the backside. He's so quick. As watch what he does here. He goes around Penny and just makes the tackle from behind before Abercrombie can get any kind of a penetration into the defensive line. Dexter Manley.
In this game, the Steelers have lost cornerback Harvey Clayton to an ankle injury. The quarterback, as we mentioned, Woodley to a stomach virus. Pollard on 3rd down. His 3rd effort may have gotten him the first down. Let's see where they spot the ball. What a terrific effort by Frank Pollard, first down.
Well, the Redskins are arguing about that one because they feel that he was stopped. His forward momentum was stopped, and that the whistle should have blown. Pollard kept running. And you're going to see Cherry's going to be in on the tackle. There's Dexter Manley. They come across the line of scrimmage and hit Pollard. Now he's pushed back and keeps going. Look at this. I'll say one thing. It was a late whistle if ever I saw one.
First down, Pittsburgh at their own 44-yard line. Campbell to throw. Too far for Stallworth, the intended receiver. On the coverage, the rookie Barry Wilburn, number 45.
2nd down and 10.
Campbell is now 8 of 18, 119 yards. Has a touchdown pass. That came to Lewis Lips from 5 yards out back in the 2nd period, and has had 1 picked off.
Of course, Barry Wilburn thrust into playing out there on that corner. He's done a pretty good job.
They've got Wilburn on the right corner. A series of injuries affecting both teams. Darrell Green over on the left corner. Vernon Dean playing one safety. Fumble on the play.
Campbell fumbled and recovered. Down by a man.
Both Schrader and Campbell have had a little problem with the pass from centers, and also on a couple of handoff situations to the running backs, and those things you might expect, neither of them having had much playing time at all.
Now, the Steelers are shuttling more plays than they normally do. Now, you can see Ehrenberger's coming in to give the play. Chuck Noll usually likes to have his quarterback call the plays, one of the few coaches that feels that way. But because of the situation with Campbell, I'm sure that all of a sudden he's thrust in with 10 minutes to go before the game, that he's shuttling plays in individually, one by one, a lot more.
Third down and 13. Campbell going deep for Lewis Lips, and it is intercepted. Darrell Green at the 16-yard line of Washington.
Campbell's pass intended for...
What a play by Darrell Green. He is so quick. Now, that time, he almost decoys the quarterback, because that time, Lewis Lips had a couple of steps on Green, as you'll see as it comes into the picture, but Green has such acceleration once the ball goes that he catches up with it. He catches up with it at the last seconds and makes the interception. Darrell Green is 6th of the year, and I'll tell you, he is quick. I mean, there's not too many cornerbacks that will let somebody beat you, not on purpose. What I'm saying is that he has such confidence in his ability to regain back to where he was that he does a terrific job.
So the Redskins with Jay Schrader come out. First down at their own 16, they lead by 10. Riggins for about 3, close to the 20-yard line. Big John Goodman and Brian Hinkle, the linebacker, for the Steelers, make the stop.
Good play by Goodman. Of course, Donnelly's having to block on him with pretty restricted with that cast on his left hand.
It'll be second down and 7. The Redskins, without Joe Jacoby, have Dan McQuaid in. He was hurt a little bit in the first half, but came back into play. They've lost Russ Grimm to a leg injury in this game. Jeff Bostic playing for him at left guard. Gary Clark to the 25-yard line, will be short of the first down, but not by much, maybe a yard. Donnie Shell, the veteran, had the coverage. Gary Clark was knocked out of the game briefly on a tough tackle back in the second period, but he's returned to action. The battered and brave Redskin team, and the Steelers have had injuries of their own, and equaling the Redskins in a gritty display of playing hurt. Pollard with bad ribs among the several injuries to this Pittsburgh team. Dennis Winston has come in along with Darrell Sims on this third and short. Walmsley the lead back in motion. Riggins has the first down out to the 28-yard line of Washington.
Well, one thing about Big Bad John, you need that yard. He's the guy to go to. He's done it so many times for the Washington Redskins over the years. Now, he doesn't have a lot of yards, 8 for 20, but he has that touchdown and a couple of key first down situations. John Riggins is probably one of the oldest running backs that ever played in this National Football League. John Henry Johnson may have been older, but you got to go way back to find a 36-year-old running back. Way back.
His 14th year out of Kansas. First down. Schrader, play action, complete to Gary Clark. Hit immediately, a gain of about 7 on the play as Rick Woods, number 22, on the right corner, knocked him down. I know Joe Theismann, looking in from his hospital bed in Arlington Hospital, got to be excited about the performance of these Redskins and the performance of this young man. He said Jay Schrader had been to visit him in the hospital. Interesting, talking to Joe this morning by telephone, he said, boy, you know, I didn't sleep at all last night, Tim. He said, you know, Saturday night's been 1972 since he didn't suit up on a football Sunday. And he said, I know what time it is right now. I said, yeah, it's 9:45. He said, that's when the second bus leaves from the hotel to go to the stadium.
You know, the sore leg might have had something to do with it not sleeping, too.
Second down, about 6. Riggins over the 35 to the 36-yard line. And again, for those of you who joined us from the other telecast, Woodley, with the stomach virus, did not even suit up for the game. Mark Malone, who was not scheduled to be in uniform with his toe injury, they got him into uniform. So he is on the Pittsburgh bench and would be an emergency backup for young Scott Campbell. So injuries have affected both teams dramatically today.
I think if Malone had to go in there, I don't think he could pass. He could probably maybe, you know, got a very sore toe, he could probably hand off, but that's about it.
Third and 2, Washington. Griffin in the lineup as the running back. Monk. First down into Pittsburgh territory.
Raiders pass to Monk.
Donnie Shell made the tackle.
And Wood.
A great play by Art Monk because he comes across. He has Woods covering number 22, but he will come across probably almost into the left side of your screen and then hook back to the other side, kind of like a button hook. There he is, 81, and Woods could do nothing about it, and Monk takes it down for another first down for the Washington Redskins. Art Monk heading for another 100-yard game. He's had 3 in a row. Here's something else.
He's got 52 yards on 6 catches. Schrader now 13 of 24 in the passing department. Wiggins met in the backfield by Brian Hinkle, number 53. The 4-year man from Oregon. There'll be a loss unless they give him the line of scrimmage. No, it'll be a loss of nearly a yard.
Second down.
And we have come to the end of the third quarter here at Three Rivers Stadium.
End of the third quarter.
And the score, Washington 27, Pittsburgh 17. In Pittsburgh, where the Redskins continue to lead the Steelers by 10 as we begin the fourth period of play. And a reminder that Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, we'll begin our action on CBS with the NFL Today, and followed by the St. Louis Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys. NFC East battle that is of great interest to all of the Washington fans looking in today for this very reason here. The Giants at 7-4, Dallas at 7-4, the Redskins just a game back, and Philadelphia right with them. So a big game on Thanksgiving Day here on CBS. Jerry Schrader, who will be the quarterback, barring injury, for the rest of this Redskin season. Flag down on the play on 2nd and 11. Whistles everywhere. I didn't hear the first whistle, nor did Schrader with the crowd alive here at Three Rivers Stadium.
Attendance at today's game, 59,293.
Ball start, number 61, offense.
Ken Huff, the right guard, with the false start. That'll back up the Redskins. Schrader, 6 of 6 in the third quarter, starting to get it together for the Redskins in the passing department.
And most of them have been the control-type passes, of course, which Washington is famous for with the ground game. With that offensive line so banged up, they haven't been very dominating in the rushing department.
And yet they had the time differential in that third quarter, 9:22 to 5 minutes 38 seconds for the Steelers. This is Griffin, close to midfield, got about 4 yards, will leave third and about 12. Brian Hinkle and Dwayne Woodruff responding to the play and putting the stop on Keith Griffin.
Third down and 12.
Griffin is so quick. That time he got out there before his offensive lineman could get out there and got everything all jammed up. He is so quick.
John Swain comes into the secondary for the Steelers. David Little, the linebacker, comes out, passing down, and the crowd exhorting the defense. Blitz. The ball batted away. Eric Williams.
Well, that's the first time the Steelers don't rush their safeties too often. That time they brought everything but the kitchen sink. As you can see, Donnie Shell and Eric Williams, 21 and 31. They faked and then came up, and Schrader had no chance, but his arm had gone forward, so you can tell that it was not a fumble. But Williams is a happy young man. It did stop the Washington drive. Pittsburgh's going to get the ball back.
Steve Cox will kick from his 35-yard line. Lewis Lips at the 10. Oh, a dandy. From the 9. Lips buried at the 17-yard line of Pittsburgh. 13-15.
Continues his pattern, and finally he goes back to the other side to Lewis Lips, who beat Darrell Green. But you talk about looking people off. I don't think he was intentionally looking people off, but Darrell Green got beat again by Lewis Lips, who went down to the inside and broke to the corner, and finally it was Cherry who knocked him out of bounds. Lewis Lips,
40-yard gain, 99 yards on the day for Lips. Howard straight ahead for about 3, gets to the 15-yard line of Washington. 11:57 remaining fourth quarter. Washington by 10. The man from Baylor. Well, here's what's happening in the fourth quarter. Chicago continues to shut out Atlanta, 27-0. Walter Payton, another 100-yard day, his 7th consecutive 100-plus game, tying the NFL record. Second down, Campbell, and it's tipped away by Curtis Jordan. The pass intended for John Stallworth. Wilburn was covering him. The free safety, Jordan, went to the ball.
That's the second time that Jordan has come up with a big play because it looked like Stallworth had inside position. Watch 22. He's at the bottom of your screen. He's watching the quarterback. He's the free guy, the free safety. Stallworth has a step onto the inside, and he bats the ball away. Save the touchdown. Save the touchdown. Looked like the pass was right on the mark.
Third down, Pittsburgh. They need 7 to get to the 8-yard line for a first down. Sweeney to the left. Blitz to the right. Campbell runs out of time. The ball is loose, recovered by the Steelers. Charles Mann was the guy that got there, forcing the ball loose, but Pittsburgh retains possession. And so it'll be fourth down back at the 20-yard line of the Washington Redskins. And on comes the field goal unit. Anderson will attempt. Text of things. Anderson's 37-yard field goal has reduced the margin to 27 to 20. Washington in front, and Anderson's kickoff went right through the end zone. So the Redskins will start from their 20-yard line, protecting a 7-point lead, and the towels are out at Three Rivers Stadium. The terrible towels as the Steeler faithful stir up the defense. Clark, first down, Redskins to the 36-yard line. Donnie Shell on the coverage forced him out. A 17-yard gain for Clark.
Okay, good move by Clark on the quick hitch pattern, and Woods misses the tackle here. Clark just spins away from it and goes up the sidelines and gets a few extra yards. That's what you try and do with that little short pass, and Donnie Shell was the savior for Pittsburgh.
Jay Schrader, 14 of 26. 139 yards and a touchdown. Riggins bolts for about 4, maybe 5 yards, depending on the spot, over the 40-yard line of the Redskins. Brian Hinkle and David Little make the tackle there.
John Riggins had 11,262 yards coming into this football game. The 4th best on the all-time list.
Second down and 6. Riggins with 26 yards on 11 carries today. Riggins gets a good hole and is close to the first down. Eric Williams went low to dump him. The Redskins battered offensive line, gave him some running room out the right side.
Officials timeout, measuring the down.
We talked about a number of injuries to their offensive line and did not include Mark May's sore ribs hurt Monday night. Finished that game in pain and playing again today. Number 73 as they get the measurement here. And Riggins carry to see if the Skins can keep it moving. And they do.
First and 10.
So the Steeler crowd trying to get the defense to close things down here. The Redskins, meanwhile, using up valuable time. 10:07. Remaining 4th period.
As the signals go in for the play, and Joe Gibbs says one thing he was confident of is that John Riggins was not going to fumble today. He said he's not a fumbler. The 2 he had last week were one of those things, but he says he doesn't expect it anymore.
First down, Redskins. Riggins off right tackle. Picks up 5 more. Robin Cole and Donnie Shell on the stop.
Did you see Riggins cover that ball when he hit the line of scrimmage that time and still got some yards? So even he is conscious of it. He is only fumbles once every 60 times, and sometimes in some seasons he's carried many hundreds of times and not fumbled at all.
Second down and 6 in Pittsburgh territory at the 49. couple good defensive reaction by the Steelers. Mike Merriweather, number 57, slashing underneath the traffic, and then the rookie Darrell Sims, number 99, cleaning up.
And I think you hit it on the head, Tim. I think that Schrader was calling an audible in that situation.
Swain comes in, Little comes out on a passing down defensively for the Steelers. Riggins leaves. Keith Griffin in the lineup at running back for Washington.
Griffin's the guy that's been open on those short passes on the delay. Blitz.
Deep drop by Schrader, buys time, hits Clark for the first down. Inside the 25 of Pittsburgh. Woods made the tackle, and the young quarterback, Jay Schrader, comes up with a big play.
But watch the offensive line. They jam up the blitz. Nobody gets through with all those guys rushing, and that gave Gary Clark a one-on-one situation. He made the catch, and the Redskins get a key first down before Woods brings him down. Big play by Schrader, but more importantly, the offensive line adjusted to the blitz, picked it up, and gave him time to throw the ball.
At the Pittsburgh 25, 7:36. Redskins with the lead and the ball, using up time. Riggins again. Only a couple. Stacked up by the front. Keith Gary, initial contact, number 92. He's just off injured reserve, getting his first start. Knee and elbow injuries kept him with limited action this year. Gary Dunn with an ankle injury, missed the last 3 games, getting back into some action today. That front of the Steelers have been hurt all season long with the exception of Keith Willis.
And the Redskins are moving it against this #1 defense. Remember, they have allowed less yards than the Chicago Bears going into this football game.
2nd and 9. Schrader. Deep for Clark, too far. Through the end zone. He was covered by Dwayne Woodruff, number 49. Maybe that Schrader elected just to throw it through there rather than risk the intercept in the end zone. Schrader 15 of 28. Young Dan McQuaid, chatting with him yesterday, getting the start for the injured Joe Jacoby, said, you know, one thing about Schrader, I know him pretty well because we spent most of our time working on the scout team. And he said one thing that he does very well that's different from Theismann, just because of their different styles, is when he makes those little rolls, he stops in pretty much the same place, and the blockers always know where he is. And he said that's been helpful to them. So even though he has not been a practicer during the early part of the season with the first team, he's looking very much at home today. Griffin, big defensive play. Robin Cole.
Oh, it certainly was, because the play was open. If he could have dipped to the outside, he'd had some yards. Now watch Cole from his linebacker. He slips through between all the blockers here and makes the tackle and prevents Griffin from getting some yardage, because Griffin might have gotten 5 or 6, 7 yards there. Robin Cole, the man who wants to play linebacker longer than anybody in the history of the NFL.
I love that ambition.
That's a great ambition, isn't it?
Mark Mosley will try from 42 yards away. Schrader will hold. He got it. Mark Mosley. 12 of 16 in the field goal department coming into the game, and he's hit his 2nd of the afternoon. So again, the Redskins widen the lead to 10 with 5:59 to go. Pittsburgh, where the Washington Redskins used up 5:09 on the clock, going 56 yards on 10 plays. A 42-yard field goal by Mark Mosley, his 2nd of the afternoon, and that produces a 10-point margin. In this half, the Redskins have had the ball 15 minutes and 34 seconds to 7:27 for Pittsburgh. Lewis Lips is back on the kickoff, but it comes to Spencer at the 15. Spencer dances nicely, a loose ball. Near the 30-yard line, the ball loose, and Pittsburgh has recovered. The Steelers recover at their own 34-yard line. 5:48 on the clock. Young Scott Campbell. We see the fumble here by Spencer.
That could have been all she wrote for the Steelers had they not recovered the fumble. It just pops right out, and Pittsburgh recovered. I wasn't able to make out. It was a linebacker who got it.
So the Steelers are up against it now. They got to make something happen on this series. Campbell, complete. Was he inbounds? Yes. First down. John Stallworth skidding out of bounds, but got the first down to the 40-yard line, a 12-yard gain.
What a physical specimen he is. 12 years as a wide receiver in the NFL through all the glory years of the Steelers, and he's still out there running around like a gazelle. And he says it's because it's what he eats. He says, I know what to put in my body and what not to put in it.
Barry Wilburn continues to work on that right corner for the injured Vernon Dean. Campbell on first down. Out for Abercrombie over his head. A little swing pass to Abercrombie. Pollard blocking in front of him, but the pass overthrown. Campbell now 12 of 25, 188 yards. Well, Cleveland has defeated Cincinnati 24-6 in that key battle between two teams who were both at 5 and 6, and now the Browns move to an even 6 and 6 count in that very tight and exciting Central Division race in the American Conference. 2nd and 10. Campbell, Abercrombie makes a good low catch and then skidded out. That portion of the field right there on the near side, near midfield, seems to be a little slippery.
Rich Malott was in on the tackle, but it's amazing how little things mean a lot. That was a completed pass, but had he gotten the pass up, he would have been able to take it, turn around, and get the first down. Now, instead, they've got a 3rd and 2.5 situation on a key 3rd down play, but that should have been a first down. Completed pass, but not a good pass, and it enabled Abercrombie to turn around and get the first down.
3 wide receivers, Lips, Stallworth, and Sweeney, and we will now wonder whether Ehrenberg is perhaps injured. Campbell gets some time, and he hits his man. Lewis Lips first down to the Washington 31.
What a penchant for the big play. It looked like Stallworth was a guy. Watch 82. He comes across real short here, and he's wide open, and you see 83 going up the field, and he throws right over Stallworth into Lewis Lips, who beat the zone defense that time and comes up with another key play for the Steelers. He's done that all day, all year.
121 yards on the day, 5 catches for Lips. Campbell. Down to the 17-yard line of Washington.
Well, he can run, can't he?
Sure can. He showed a couple of nifty cuts in there. A 14-yard pickup for the quarterback from Purdue. Timeout on the field. 3:29 on the clock. We'll return to Three Rivers Stadium after this word from your local station. Ryan with Johnny Morris and the Pittsburgh crowd looking a little bit tentative, you might say. They hope that their team can get into the end zone here, close it up to 3 again, and then there would be enough time for anything to happen. First down at the 17-yard line. Campbell, complete. Stallworth battling with 3 Redskins. Check it, not Stallworth. One of the rare tight end catches, and it's Benny Cunningham, number 89. Just his 2nd catch of the entire season. And it is 2nd down and about 3. At the 10-yard line. Steelers go in the hurry up. Campbell. Intended for Cunningham again. That's incomplete. Manley had the rush on Campbell.
And I have to go back to that timeout that the Steelers took. They had the momentum, and they had a first down, and they took that one timeout. We don't have a reason as to why, but that one timeout, it didn't seem like it was necessary at the time, but now they have 2 remaining, and obviously they're going to have to get the ball back and stop the clock on the Redskins, and now they only have 2 instead of 3 timeouts.
They did call 2 plays. At least they made some use of it time-wise there. Gothard is in at tight end. Sweeney is in at wide receiver. 3rd down play. Campbell, incomplete. Intended for Stallworth. Sweeney was, or rather Gothard was also in that area, but it appeared that Stallworth was the target, and an unhappy Scott Campbell did not deliver the ball.
There you can see all the receivers, and you're going to see a whole bunch of people in the same spot as they come across there, and that draws a crowd. The pass was low. Nobody was going to catch that one unless they were a gopher. So they're going to take the field goal to try and get within 7.
Anderson going for his 3rd of the day from the 27-yard try, and he's got it. And that is 12 in a row for Gary Anderson, 3 of them today, and they're back to within a touchdown. 2:55 to play in regulation time. The Redskins 30, Pittsburgh 23.
The onside kick was perfect. The Redskins touched the ball. It was
Greg Williams,
and then there is Mike Merriweather, number 57, to make the recovery. The Steelers have the ball at their own 45-yard line. We have a ball game here.
Hold on to your hats. Scott Campbell and Jay Schrader, 2 virtual unknowns in a duel here. Campbell forced out. He's going to be tackled and dropped, but he picked up about 3 on the scramble. Mel Kaufman got him. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Each of these teams at 6 and 5. Critical game in the playoff picture. Redskins a game out of first place in the NFC East. The Steelers clinging to their lead in the AFC Central. Cleveland, the winner today, has moved to 6 and 6. 2nd and 7. Blitz. Campbell gets the time and underthrows Stallworth.
Campbell's pass.
Stallworth was open on the same pattern he's been running all day on Wilburn, down about 12 yards and out. That Campbell just didn't get enough mustard on the ball, and he is, as you can see, he's talking to himself. He had plenty of room there. It was just a low pass. And that one hurts the Steelers. Now they're at a 3rd down situation and about 7 to go.
Well, they made the onside kick work for them, and now they're in a situation where it's an almost do or die. 2:10 on the clock. Lips, Stallworth, Sweeney, 3 wide receivers.
All out blitz.
Campbell stands in there, the ball waggling around, and the play broken up by Rafael Cherry.
Campbell's pass intended for Stallworth.
Intended for Stallworth.
Covered by Cherry.
Did not get a real good toss on it. It hung up there a little. Rafael Cherry, the rookie from Hawaii, batted it away.
Who's playing more and more for Tony Peters. As you can see, the Stallworth tried to move him to the outside, and Cherry was plenty deep on him. He wasn't going to let anybody get behind him. He just goes up and makes sure that Stallworth did not catch the football. So it's a 4th down situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
For all of this second half, the Redskins have had 2 rookies in the secondary. Cherry for Peters, he started, and Wilburn for the injured Vernon Dean, hurt today. Intercepted, no, incomplete. Intent for Ouija Thompson. The ball off target and nearly picked off by Wilburn, number 45, and the Redskins take over.
It wasn't so much off target, it was that Ouija Thompson slipped. Now, it's a bad break for the Steelers. He goes down, is going to just hook inside the linebacker. He had the lane right there, and he just goes right down, and the ball was knocked away by Wilburn. So Ouija Thompson slips at a very inopportune time for the Pittsburgh Steelers. As the Redskins take over, the Steelers have only 2 timeouts.
We're at the 2-minute warning. Washington in front. Concern 1:59 remaining to play. Redskin ball, and they lead by 7. Riggins got maybe a yard. Hinkle, the linebacker, slicing in. Keith Willis, number 93. Pittsburgh, with just 2 timeouts remaining, takes 1 of them. 1:53 on the clock, and time running out on the Steelers. Washington 30, the Steelers 23.
Manhandled by bulkier opponents. But that never stops the diminutive Viking receiver from leaping over or under defenders in his pursuit of the football. He may be small in stature, but by having a heart that is better measured by the extent of his effort, Leo Lewis is the best he can be.
Might get to 7 and 5, right where they were after 12 games a year ago when they won their division. Chuck Noll, on the other hand, looking at a likely 6 and 6, but still in that tight AFC Central, Steelers still very much in it, no matter what happens.
Washington should probably go a little bit wide because they're just not going to get any yards up the middle.
Well, they cry off tackle, and Riggins got about 3, but it'll leave a 3rd down and 5. The 43-yard line of Pittsburgh. Steelers take a timeout, 1:46 on the clock. Williams and Woodruff on the tackle. And we'll be back here at Three Rivers Stadium in just a moment. Just say congratulations and pay some tribute to 3 CBS technicians with us here today, Lou Scannett, George Nader, and Sig Myers, who are working their last NFL football game for CBS, all of them with more than 30 years here at CBS Sports, and we thank them for their efforts today and in their long and distinguished careers. Don't forget, we've got lots more football action coming up. The Giants at St. Louis or Philadelphia at Dallas here on CBS Sports. And more ahead in that critical NFC East picture as the Redskins, if they can keep possession here, will find themselves at 7-5. 3rd down, 5 to go. Riggins batters his way, but is stopped short. The Steelers not surrendering anything. Have brought up 4th down, but they're out of timeouts, and the clock marching against them at 1:30.
But they are going to get the football back, because you can only run about 30 seconds off that clock, and you get the punt, so they're going to have the ball with no timeouts and about probably 50 seconds left in the football game. So there's still a chance.
Steve Cox, number 12, acquired as a free agent this year after the injury to Jeff Hayes, done an outstanding job for the Redskins. Lewis Lips, the leading punt returner in the American Football Conference, standing at his 10-yard line as they go under a minute.
And here will come a 5-yard penalty, which doesn't make too much difference to Washington because he's going to go for the corner or the sidelines. He does not want to kick it to Lewis Lips to give Lips a chance. He's returned 2 for touchdowns. As you look at some of the scores, Detroit, Tampa Bay into overtime. Oh, look at this. The Chicago Bears, the monsters of the midweight, are going to be 12-0.
That's headed for overtime, New Orleans and Minnesota. As usual, interesting activity around the NFL. Cox now back at his 40-yard line, using up as much time as he can here. Lips fields it on the fly. Gets to the 25-yard line. 28-yard punt, a 7-yard return. 51 seconds on the clock. And the Steelers will organize their last gasp offense. 30-23.
And of course, the big thing here is that they've got to go all the way. A field goal won't do it, so you got to figure the Redskins are going to give them those short ones in front just to keep them away from the end zone.
Sweeney, Lips, and Stallworth, the wide receivers. Campbell can't get it off. The ball came loose. Manley was there. The Redskins say they've recovered. We'll wait for the official version of events.
Down by Manley.
No, it's still Pittsburgh's ball, according to the officials.
At the 20-yard line.
Second down.
The clock is running. 39 seconds. 39 seconds.
Incomplete. Intended for Gothard. 32 seconds on the clock. Let's go to our studios in New York and join Brent Musburger for an NFL update.
Well, Tim, the Rams exploded on the opening kickoff out in Anaheim. It was Ron Brown, the Olympic speedster. He got a step, and there's no catching Brown. He goes for a touchdown on the opening kickoff. And, Tim, that's how your game started with the Redskins. Back to you.
32 seconds remaining here in Pittsburgh. 3rd down and 15. Campbell intercepted by Malott. Inside the 10-yard line, and don't you imagine there are some relatives and friends of former Penn State star Rich Malott in attendance here in Pittsburgh, and he has just driven the final nail in the coffin of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It'll be 1st and goal for the Redskins with 20 seconds to play, and a disappointed Scott Campbell, a youngster from Purdue, forced into the start today, not one he was expecting. David Woodley ready to go until a stomach virus attacked him this morning, and Campbell having to take over the controls, has played not badly today in this battle of two young quarterbacks. Our executive producer, Terry O'Neill, our CBS Sports coverage this afternoon. Brought to you by all of these gentlemen, our senior producer, Charles H. Milton III, our producer here, David Michaels, and our director, Peter Bleckner. Associate producer, Alan Drum, as the Redskins will wind it down. Under the 22nd mark we go. Broadcast associate Bill Bonnell. We mentioned Lou Scana earlier, and again, congratulations to the veterans on our crew who are finishing up their NFL careers at CBS today. And don't forget, coming up next, the New York Giants against the Cardinals, or you'll see the Eagles at Dallas. For Johnny Morris, this is Tim Ryan saying so long from Three Rivers Stadium. Washington 30, Pittsburgh 23. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this word from your local station.